What's that? What's that? What's that? It says there's desktop audio and condenser mic on this. I'm just making sure what's going on. I don't know if there's something new or, I don't get told anything. I have this big old graphic on the screen. Look at this thing. Look what happens. That would make a nice cake. I made a lemon cake. Craig found this one on the Google. I made a lemon cake, but I didn't get it frosted. And you know why I didn't get it frosted? Because frosting a cake is a delicate procedure, and it is not to be rushed. And I just couldn't get it. I had like 10 minutes before the show started, and the cake, the bottom of the pan was still a tiny bit warm, and I like it to be cooled off before I frost it. So I won't be able to share lemon cake with you this evening, but know that I will be having some soup. And we have this lovely item, thanks to Craig, which does look delicious, by the way. Whoever got that was a very lucky boy. Okay, so where were we now? I don't know. So last night when we were talking, I was looking on the YouTube, right? And on the YouTube it says important notice. This is in the video manager section of my YouTube page where all the videos are listed. If there's a copyright issue, I find it there, all these things, right? So at the top of the page, they have this, they've had this fucking blue banded notice forever that says you're legally required to comply with the Children Online Privacy Protection Act, right? And I did it like 6 months ago. I said I jumped through the hoops that they told me to jump through, and they still leave the freaking banner up on my page like I haven't done it, which again is causing undue stress by YouTube for just, I don't know if it's laziness or what, but there's no reason people who have already jumped through this hoop to have this fucking notice up on their fucking desktop. That being said, there is another. And I would pull the browser up, but I can't do it. We had to replace the video card yesterday to get the show to go live, because we couldn't get everything to work right. And then now we can't get the browser window up. So I would show you this, but I can't get it to come up. So it says important notice. This is in the back. This is at the top of my video manager page on YouTube. Important notice. Due to COVID-19, we will conduct fewer human reviews to protect the health of our extended workforce. Unfortunately, as a result, we may remove content that does not violate our community guidelines. So, if they somehow fuck with me on community guidelines content, that will take that and give us a strike when they're fucking acting like, oh, we can't fucking man our own ship. Then, like YouTube people can't work from home. So due to so this is just a heads up. They're like warning us, or at least me, ahead of time, that we may shut your shit down, and it may be for completely ridiculous reasons. So today is my birthday, March 19th, 1962. On this day, the earth was blessed with me. It's so I made it. I made it another year, fuckers. I'm still here, fuckers. And that's the truth, I mean, most people didn't think I was going to make it to 19, and from the very beginning, from way before that, I'm pretty sure the doctors were saying I wasn't going to make it to 5 or 6. So, whatever. I've been dealing with this shit forever. Welcome to my world, okay? Now, I was saying that this week we are doing dabs for donations all week long because it's my birthday week. And yesterday, Jackie Cat made a lovely donation, and I did not get a dab for her. So I want to drop a dab for the lovely Jackie Cat. Because she's so nice and so sweet, and she's always kicking down regardless of whatever. She just is like, here's some pizza money. How much more can a guy ask for than to have that kind of support, right? And this one is for you, Jackie Cat. I'm just doing little ones tonight because I want to make sure my lungs stay in good condition. So that one's for you, baby. And I'm going to fire it up in just a sec here. Just a little one tonight. What?
Jackie Cat, I totally want to come and party at your house.
Yeah.
You got an awesome backyard, baby. I would love to sit back and do a bong hit right by that canal with those fans blowing in the breeze by the palm trees. We are so fucking jealous. At least I am. I don't know if Mike's jealous, but that's a nice view you got at the backyard. Love your videos. If those are the ones you want us to use, you got the awesome yard to show off, and we would love to make that a background for the show.
Except for now you gave too much information, so we can't use those videos. Thanks very much, Chris.
She said we could
not and say that who they belong to.
She said it in chat. She put it right up publicly in chat.
Oh, okay.
Who knows that? That could be anywhere in Florida, right?
Okay. Let's see. Where the fuck were we? Let's see. Jackie Cat. Bong hit. Right. Jackie Cat, bong hit. I was getting there, and then something happened. Let's see. There's Boo Bear. There's my cake. There's my cake. So, let's see. Let's see. So, if anybody wants to kick down for some birthday pizza, which is what we're eating tonight, is birthday pizza, by the way. I made it. I made a lemon cake for me on my birthday. I will be frosting it later. But if anybody wants to kick down for some pizza, it's greatly appreciated. And it is my birthday. So, and we are doing dabs for donations, and I have one to fire up for Jackie Cat, and we have 10 clips ready to go. That includes the bright side and the fucking tiger. But it's all coronavirus, all the time, every day. The governor of California, just before we came on the air, announced that apparently within the next 2 weeks, 25 million people in his state should be infected with the coronavirus. So I don't know what we're supposed to do about that, but that seems like an awful lot. I think it's these governors are rushing to, again, last week it was the governor saying, we already have 100,000, governor of Ohio, right? Nobody's even been tested. We have 100,000 people infected in our state, and that's going to double every 6 days. And now the governor of California, we have 25 million people. It's like, we want our share of the money. Give us our share of the money now. That's what I see going on. And they're like, and they're, none of them are going to be like, yeah, we don't really want to call the military into our state. It's like, yeah, give us more. We need to make this as big an emergency as possible. How much bigger can it get? Everybody's fucking sheltering in place. The whole fucking world. So, happy birthday to me, huh? Okay, so it sounds like to me we could definitely use a big fat dab. Let's see what we have to start off our little show this evening. Working class scared about what's going to happen next. Oh, and here's the dabs we're smoking tonight. They're very, very nice. They're very, look at that beefy one. Who's gonna get that one? Oh, they're very nice. They're so nice. Big, beefy, juicy dabs. So I'm gonna play this working class video, working class scared about what's coming next video, and heat up the bong and take one for Jackie Cat. Take this one. I'm just doing little dabs tonight because I want to make sure my lungs stay nice and healthy. So we'll see if we can fit that one in the dabber. That's not what I used to start video clips. I thought I was going to use the remote to start a video clip. Here, we'll start the video clip now. That's not what I used. How many brownies did you guys eat before you came out here? Don't you know how this show works? How many times have we jumped through this hoop?
President Trump signed a multi-billion-dollar coronavirus relief bill into law last night. This legislation gives many Americans paid sick and family leave, but it reportedly leaves out millions of people with businesses with more than 500 employees, and in some cases less than 50 are exempt. Now, it's estimated nearly 1 in 4 U.S. workers do not have access to paid sick leave, and nearly 60% are living paycheck to paycheck. Adriana Diaz reports from Chicago, where some hourly workers worry they will now have to make a very difficult choice.
Good morning. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. Working remotely simply isn't an option for someone who flips burgers, works a cash register, or drives a school bus. For people barely making ends meet as it is, they may be less willing to miss work no matter what the reason. Plus, they're often interacting face-to-face with customers, putting them at risk of exposure.
27-year-old single mother Adriana Alvarez has been working at this McDonald's since she was 17. And she says she can't afford to get sick.
Every 2 seconds, hand sanitizer. There's a lot of people coming through the drive-thru. We're exchanging money, we're dealing with food. What if it spreads through food? You know what I mean?
McDonald's told us it's bolstered its hygiene standards and shifted to takeout, drive-thru, and deliveries in company-owned stores. And it says it's strongly encouraging franchises to do the same. The franchise where Alvarez works made that switch this week. A leader in the Fight for 15 minimum wage movement, Alvarez is calling on McDonald's to provide paid sick leave to all employees.
So you do have sick days, but it's hard to get them.
Correct.
It's hard to use them.
Yeah, they don't want to give it to us. I don't understand why.
The health and well-being of our people.
McDonald's sent CBS News this video statement saying corporate restaurants are providing 2 weeks paid sick leave due to the virus. But that doesn't apply to franchises.
We have an amazing group of franchisees who lead almost 95% of our restaurants. I'm confident they will support their teams in a time of crisis.
We reached out to Alvarez's franchise owner, but haven't heard back. For Alvarez and her 7-year-old son, Manny, she says every hour of work she misses is a precious $13.45 lost.
Basically, one paycheck is for the rent, the other one is for groceries, and then it's watching the calendar waiting for that next paycheck with like $25, $30 in your bank account.
President Trump signed a coronavirus emergency relief package that includes paid time off. But Alvarez is skeptical help will come.
I'm not completely confident, no. As of right now, I would much rather go to work sick because I can't afford to miss a day.
So if you got sick, you would still go to work?
Unless I'm like, I can't get up, then you will see me at work.
Unless you physically cannot stand?
Yes.
I get $20.75 an hour.
How hard is it with the job to make ends meet?
It's very hard.
Sheila Red, a school bus driver of 17 years, is now out of work completely after Illinois closed schools this week. She's expecting to file for unemployment, but she says won't cover all the bills and food to support her 2 daughters and 2 grandkids.
What keeps you up at night?
Them. Worried about them. I don't know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. And now with this new world we live in, everything's upside down.
It is very, very much upside down.
And Red is not alone. A new survey found that 1 in 5 households has already lost work because of this pandemic, and school closures are further complicating life. McDonald's worker Adriana Alvarez is now trying to sort out childcare for her son.
Adriana, thank you. Such an anxious time for so many people. We're already seeing a big spike in unemployment claims in many cities around the country.
Such a big spike that even some websites at the state level were crashing because they couldn't meet all the demand.
Yeah, this new normal is not fun, and we keep hearing we'll get through it, get through it, and I believe we will, but I think people don't know how.
Oh, the hardest part is people don't know how long it's going to be.
And I keep thinking these low-wage workers are some of the highest risk because they're dealing with people every day. They're working at Starbucks, they're working at supermarkets.
Exactly. Exactly.
No easy
All right.
answers.
All right. Let's see if we can get this one in that bowl, man. This little tiny thing, if we can fit that in there. This one for you, Jackie Cat. Just for you. See if we can get in there. And welcome to your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Moxie. Thanks so much for tuning in. And never forget, it's always better when you're here. Oh, and that was so nice. Thank you so much, Jackie Cat. So I am working on a couple of ideas for stuff we could do in the future. I'm trying to find out if I'm thinking, something that might add a little bit of excitement to the show, since we do the show at 7 p.m. Pacific time, and then it goes like 3 hours or however long. Like at 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. or 8:30 p.m. Pacific time, the Mega Millions and the Lotto people, they draw their numbers, And I was thinking maybe we could get we could figure out what numbers to pick. Like we'll all pick numbers. And then every week I'll go and get one card, and then everybody who's in here in the chat room, if the card wins a big number, everybody gets $1,000 or whatever, or $5,000 or I don't know, whatever. It depends on how many people are here. If there are 10,000 people in the room, then they get like $500 or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But that might be fun and exciting, right? Because then we have the number, we play like the same number every week, right? And then and I'll have the card right here in front of you, and then we can look at the drawing live. And we can go, we're all winners. Woohoo! And then I'm better than Andrew Yang. This is my Andrew Yang plan right here. Yeah. So I'm not sure what all is going to happen next. Clearly, again, the show is not going out to notify people that we're going live for whatever reason. Happy birthday. Thank you. I have a lovely cup of tea. And it's a lovely day here again. And you know how I was saying that the other day, like 2 days ago or something, I was saying that there's like no planes in the sky, and I'm just sitting and there's no planes, and then like I heard one plane the second day. But today we were out walking, right? And I see this giant plane like flying our way, right? And it's like, a giant passenger liner, and he's flying like directly over our head, me and the dogs. And I look up, and in the biggest letters possible, it says 737 MAX. And I'm like, I thought they weren't flying those right now. 737 MAX, the biggest letters possible across the bottom. I don't think I've ever seen marks like that across the bottom of a plane before, but it was there. I mean, the plane's 2,000, 3,000, 5,000 feet in the air. I could read it clear as day. It was crazy. Let me tell you, you cannot hide from a 737 MAX with your name on it. This is the truth. Amen. So, here we are. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. It's I love being able to connect with you, and I've loved being able to do this with you for so long. So so many years you guys have been here, and now you're all here hanging out. We also have another plan to get to try and inject a new surge of viewers. We're going to go through the old C-SPAN junkie email address, which has everything. I never throw anything away. So it has like 280,000 emails in it. I mean, I never throw anything that's important away, like someone saying, "Hey, Mox, keep up the good work." That just stays in the email forever. Unless Google throws it away, which, fucking Google. You know how those people are. They love to throw shit away, I'll tell you that. So there's like 280,000 emails in the email box or something. What's it say? Anyways. It says 228,000. Which I think is way less than it was before. But so Craig is working on harvesting as many emails out of that as possible and contacting all of those people to say, "Hey, we're doing a live nightly show and we would love to have you join us." And that'll be happening over the next few days. I guess it's going to take a couple days to make that happen the way we want it to. And I think he's talking about doing some kind of a newsletter too, which I'm not sure what exactly that would entail. I don't like sending out emails to people. I don't like the idea of sending out regular emails to people that because I don't click on anything, so when I see things in my email, I'm always like, what is this now? I don't click on anything. That was the first rule I was taught on the internet. You don't click on anything. So I have taken that rule to heart from day one. And my my computers tend to last a lot longer than the average human being. I have worked the fuck out of them forever. So I have more of these lovely coronavirus updates from you. I wanted you to see the working class video. I don't know. I have a video. There's a one of the things that happened, I guess, is that Trump is he has a financial relief plan that involves helping all Americans. I don't know. But I have that in one of my videos tonight. If you want me to play another video. If not, it's a call-in show, and I would be more than happy to hear from anyone on my birthday. Otherwise, you know, I'll play a clip and play a clip and play a clip, and then we'll go frost cake, because I like lemon cake, but it's just not the same without lemon frosting. I've tried it. I've tried it without lemon frosting. I've tried it with no frosting. I've tried it with cream cheese frosting. That didn't work at all, which was too bad, because a good cream cheese frosting and a good lemon cake. I'm like, dang, this was a waste. Not that I didn't eat it. Oh, speaking of cake, it's my birthday today. Oops, didn't get it right. Let's see. Ah! Coronavirus gonna kill us all. Oh, didn't get it right twice. Son of a bitch. I don't know, I gotta move the monitor a little bit, I think, so I can see it better. Let's try that, like that right there. Oh, I see that moves the camera too. That's trippy. Ooh, I kind of like that. Except for I'm way out of frame. Huh. Anyways, I'm not sure where to go from here, other than to play another clip for you, and this is why I have clips assembled. So, right before we came out here, the governor of California announced that that he wanted as much money as he could get from the giant $1 trillion relief fund, because within the next 2 weeks, California will have 25 million COVID-19 positive patients. And I thought you might want to see that.
And from California's governor just moments ago, this prediction tonight that 25 million people in California alone could have this coronavirus in 8 weeks. Tonight, news on the checks being sent to American families. We have it all for you, and we're going to begin this evening with ABC's Whit Johnson leading us off.
With the number of infections in the U.S. soaring, in New York alone by 3,000 in just the last 24 hours, the mayor giving this new warning.
But the federal government does not do all in its power immediately. There will be people who die who didn't need to die.
Adding this is going to be one of the most difficult moments in the city's history. This as the White House is making an ambitious promise to fast-track medical treatments for patients with COVID-19.
It's shown very encouraging, very, very encouraging early results. And we're going to be able to make that drug available almost immediately.
President Trump touting the malaria drug chloroquine, or hydroxychloroquine, which doctors say have already delivered promising results in China to alleviate symptoms. But right now, the FDA is still studying the drug for use against the virus.
I think it could be a game changer, and maybe not. But I think it could be based on what I see.
The White House says another therapy for Ebola is already being tested on Americans with COVID-19. But it's still unclear any of these treatments are effective or when they would be widely available. This as doctors and nurses have been sounding the alarm for days, saying they're running out of critical supplies. The CDC even recommending using homemade masks like a bandana or scarf as a last resort.
Nurses are working with inadequate protections, and that ranges from head coverings, respirators, eye shields, appropriate gowns.
But Vice President Pence claiming a company that makes those vital N95 masks is ramping up production to 35 million per month, adding that the government has now identified tens of thousands of ventilators as well. ER Dr. Stephen Anderson telling us they need ventilators in Auburn, Washington.
We need ventilators. I have ventilators this morning, but the hospital up the street from me is out of ventilators at the moment.
The growing pandemic now revealing the risk for young people may be worse than previously thought. New numbers from the CDC showing nearly 40% of American patients hospitalized for COVID-19 were between the ages of 20 and 54. Still, thousands of college students have been descending on Florida beaches. But 29-year-old Tarek Soleiman wants young people to realize just how dangerous it is. He's sick with the virus and has pneumonia, unable to breathe.
I just want to say that it can come to anyone, and it can also be severe for a lot of young people.
The governor of New York today leaning on his 22-year-old daughter.
What is the one line I used to say?
Risk reward.
Yeah.
To urge young people to heed the warnings.
These pictures of young people on beaches, these videos of young people saying, this is my spring break, you know, I'm out to party, this is my time to party. This is so unintelligent and reckless.
In New York, Governor Cuomo now tightening the restrictions on businesses, mandating that 75% of their workers must stay home. And in nearby Freehold, New Jersey, an unimaginable loss for the Fusco family. Today, the fourth member of the tight-knit family dying, all within days of each other. 3 others hospitalized, nearly 20 family members now on quarantine. Daughter Bridget telling People magazine, I am numb. I don't believe what is going on.
When I first read about that story breaking late last night, I just couldn't believe what I was reading. 4 members now from the same family, a devastating loss, and some family members you've learned are still in the hospital tonight.
David, this is truly an unthinkable example of just how contagious this virus can be, especially in large groups. The New York Times is also reporting that matriarch died while on a ventilator, never knowing that her 2 oldest children had already passed. David?
Just awful. Whit Johnson leading us off tonight with thank you. The toll on hospitals already being felt across this country. Word that some ICUs are near capacity as the number of cases soars. And tonight, the doctors who say they do not have what they need. Here's ABC's chief national correspondent, Matt Gutman.
Tonight, one of the biggest expansions in hospital space in American history. From coast to coast, temporary hospitals being built at breakneck speed. This field unit for coronavirus patients under construction on a soccer field outside Seattle. And this as emergency room officials fear being overrun when the virus peaks.
We have patients who we suspect highly have COVID, but have not been the testing is not completed because the testing is taking so substantially long. Our ICUs are already at capacity before this pandemic began, and now we're pushing them over.
While thousands are lining up at drive-through testing sites like these in Texas and Georgia, so many seeking tests are unable to get them.
I was sitting on the couch, and my wife was in the kitchen, and I almost passed out. Just out of the blue.
39-year-old Sacramento resident Justin Willite has been to the emergency room twice in the last 8 days. Doctors tell him they are 100% certain he has the virus, but they told him the tests are only for those in dire need.
It was more frustrating for my wife because my wife wanted more definitive answers.
With officials in Los Angeles setting up this RV park as a possible quarantine site, doctors across the country now pleading with people to stay home. This physician in Atlanta holding up a sign saying, I stayed at work for you, you stay home for us, especially since some of those doctors on the front lines are especially vulnerable too.
I can't walk away from this pandemic while I'm needed. But that said, I have at least a 10-fold higher mortality rate.
Some hospitals reporting a short supply of ventilators. Doctors in other countries have rigged them so patients could share them, but haven't taken that measure yet. That is now being discussed as a last resort among some health officials.
We're exploring how to make that work, and that creativity is absolutely essential.
Yeah, we need creativity, but we also need them to be extraordinarily careful. And I know they're considering everything. Sharing those ventilators, a worst case scenario, because there are risks with that too.
There are, David, and that's because it's never before been tried on humans. Now, they can split those ventilators, but it still requires skilled technicians to monitor the patients. There's also a concern that these patients are breathing the same air and could transmit diseases, and this is why doctors keep telling us to flatten the curve so hospitals don't have to get into these situations where they use these unprecedented measures. David.
Matt Gutman tonight. Thank you, Matt. And from Italy this evening, it just gets worse. The death toll now worse than China, 427 deaths in just the past 24 hours. And the infections there, the infections have not slowed down yet. The number of infections rising again tonight. In this image this evening, a procession of military trucks carrying the dead from one hard-hit city to another because the crematoriums are overwhelmed. ABC's James Longman on what U.S. authorities are now watching from afar, knowing they could soon face some of the very same tests.
Tonight, chilling new video from Italy's front lines as a deadly milestone is reached. The country today recording more coronavirus deaths than China. Over 3,400 now dead, 427 more fatalities in just one day, and a 15% increase in infections over yesterday. The curve just won't flatten. This desperate plea from a doctor in hard-hit Bergamo.
We are in full emergency. Our health personnel, nurses and physicians are working round the clock, countless hours to fight this incredible situation.
Tonight, 300 volunteer doctors now being rushed in from other parts of the country to help. Even Bergamo's crematorium is overwhelmed. Bodies now have to be transported by the military to surrounding regions to be dealt with safely. This nurse saying the psychological tension has, quote, gone through the roof. We're not even counting the dead anymore, she says. Doctors also making the ultimate sacrifice. One physician, sick with the virus, reportedly didn't want to take an intensive care bed from another patient. It cost him his life. Americans in Italy warning of the dangers to loved ones back home.
You don't realize who you're going to come in contact with next. You could be a carrier and not even know it.
Darkness in Italy and Spain, suffering nearly 300 deaths in the past 24 hours. But glimmers of light from China, reporting no new domestic cases. A long road ahead for other nations facing corona's deadly wave.
And James Longman with us live from London tonight. And James, you've been to Italy 3 times since the outbreak began, and we heard about that doctor losing his life fighting the virus. I read one report today, tributes to the doctor that left a lump in your throat. It was reported that he didn't want to take one of the beds in the ICU from patients who needed those beds. He waited so long for help, and it just really illustrates the sacrifices being made by the medical community, not only there in Italy, but they're about to be making right here in the U.S.
That's right, David. It really is extraordinary, the sacrifice health workers are making in Italy. And that gentleman wasn't the only one. 13 medics have now lost their lives fighting against corona, and over 2,500 members of the medical workforce in Italy have been infected. These are dark days for Italy, David.
James Longman, our thanks to you again tonight. We must remember the workers on the front lines. James, thank you. And amid all of this, the reality for millions of Americans, mothers and fathers losing their jobs. So what do they do now? Tonight, the stories from Pennsylvania to Minnesota to California. Here's ABC's Rebecca Jarvis.
Tonight, the coronavirus emergency is taking its toll on the American workforce.
COVID-19 is an economic tsunami.
In San Francisco, a city under orders to shelter in place, housekeeper Larry Lou Karumba hasn't worked in 2 weeks.
I'm a single mom of 3. I really don't know what I'm going to use to put food on the table.
Across the country, unemployment claims are soaring. In Pennsylvania, 121,000 claims in 2 days. Minnesota handling 2,000 claims an hour this week versus 40 an hour just last week. And in Massachusetts, nearly 20,000 claims on Monday, more than all of February.
Last time for a while.
Among the hardest hit, the service industry. At least 21 states have closed restaurants and bars to dine-in customers. Christy Oakes is a server in Boston.
Because we do work on tips, a lot of us are left with little to no income.
By one estimate, more than 9 million people could be affected just by bar and restaurant shutdowns alone. And David, if you've been laid off, in addition to filing for unemployment insurance right away, there are a number of companies that are suspending late fees and service interruptions if you're behind on those bills, including wireless providers like AT&T and Verizon and credit card companies like American Express and Citibank. David?
All right, suspending those fees as they should. That's help much needed. Rebecca, thank you. There is news tonight on the checks that President Trump wants to send out to American families. The proposal calls for this. If you make up to $75,000, you would get a check for $1,200, and it's all part of a major bailout. Some of that money going to business. And so our Jon Karl asking the president today, will you guarantee that that money won't go to executives and more stock buybacks? John is at the White House tonight.
Tonight, Senate Republicans in the White House introduced their trillion-dollar plan to boost an economy battered by the coronavirus.
Can you still get this done, like early next week, if all these...
We don't. We're going to get our ass kicked.
The plan includes relief for workers, small businesses, and the industries getting hit hardest, including airlines, cruises, and hotels.
Will you guarantee that the money, the billions, the tens of billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars even, that's going to go to these industries will not go to executive bonuses or to more stock buybacks?
Well, we don't want that. In fact, some companies, as you know, did stock buybacks, and I was never happy with that. It's very hard to tell them not to, but I would tell them not to.
You can make it a condition of the bill. You can say that none of this money can go for that.
It takes many people in this case to tango. But as far as I'm concerned, that conditions like that would be okay with me.
A big chunk of the bill would be cash payments to individual Americans. If you make $75,000 or less, you'd get a $1,200 check. Anyone making up to $99,000 would get a smaller check. And families with household incomes under $198,000 would get up to $500 per child.
And so let's get right to John tonight, because negotiations on this bill, I know, get underway tomorrow, John. Lawmakers hoping to vote next week, but even the vote could be tricky because a couple of members of Congress have now tested positive, John?
David, 2 members of the House have tested positive for coronavirus. You do see some proposals out there now to accommodate remote voting, but I am told that that is extremely unlikely to happen. What this does, though, is it increases the importance of having overwhelming bipartisan support for this bill so that even if there are many members who are unable to vote, it would still pass.
All right, Jon Karl tonight. John, thank you.
All right, hey, we're back. And we got Michael from Southern California on the phone.
Happy birthday. I kicked you down $10, man. It's on GoFundMe, I think.
Oh, right on. That's very nice of you. I will get I have a dab all lined up for you.
Well, it's for you, man. Just, you're like 58, right?
I'm 58.
Okay, you're officially in the old man category.
Well, I've been there for a while.
Dwayne gets to call you an old fart now, like he does me. You're ranting old fart. So happy birthday, Michael. One more turn around the solar system.
Yeah, he's crazy, dude. I'm telling you, nobody ever would have predicted that I would have made it to here for sure.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about life is, you know that thing about all the rock stars die at the age of 27? You know that little kind of mythology they created because rock stars some of them tend to die at the age of 27.
Well, some of them with the best catalogs tend to die at age 27, and that's, that's actually interesting information. Go ahead.
But you never know, as much as I trick myself and fool myself into thinking, man, I'm going to live to 80 and I'm going to be a badass.
You really think about that shit, huh?
Well, every now and then it crosses my mind, my mortality. It should cross everybody's mind.
I don't think about that shit. I'm like, man, I don't want to get that old. If I get that old, I fucking hurt too much already, okay? And I'm properly medicated. I do not, I can't imagine. I look at some of those people and I think, man, how do you get up and move around?
Hey, man, it just takes me a couple of aspirin in the morning and a little bit of marijuana and some good espresso, and I'm out the fucking door. It's true that when I was up to the age of about See, I'm a badass, Dwayne. So if you're listening to this, Dwayne, up to the age of about 55, I was lifting 50. Let's see, up to the age of about 52 or 3, I was lifting 200 and 250 pound rocks every day, right? Every fucking day. I was a badass motherfucker. So I think just that decades and decades of physical activity, working in the hardest trade in the world that I know of, which is masonry, just kind of, turned me into like a warrior. And I gotta admit, I'm a little slower now, and I don't lift 250-pound rocks. I get a 150-pound rock, and it's a chore. But I think I stayed young longer because I had more to prove. The guy who has more to prove is going to push himself harder. And
see, I never had anything to prove. I never wanted. I'm just not competitive in any way. The only thing that ever kind of drives me is when people go, "Oh, you can't do that." I'm like, you don't know me very well, do you?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you're slightly competitive when some doofus comes on the line and says, well, this or that, and then it might be your job, it might be your personality, I don't know, but when I get dumb fucks arguing with me, my hand's on the block button. It's like, but you let them go on for half an hour sometimes before you finally get upset. So you tell me, is that competition? Is that intellectual competition where you actually want to get in I'll debate anybody, because I don't debate people. It's not my job to debate people. My job is to protect my sanity and say, fuck you, get the fuck out of my face, you're a dumb fuck.
I see the message. Yeah, I understand, dude. I'm not, Dwayne is gonna have to wait a minute. Michael's talking now.
I love you, Dwayne. Happy birthday, Dwayne. I'm glad you made it to 42, man. So, anyways, I love this little competition we got going. He's the only guy I get to needle.
Well, when you say that, when you say this competition thing, actually every time I see one of these rock stars or somebody else fucking buy it, I'm like, ha, beat that guy. But that's partially because, I somewhat view them as peers, but they have everything, right? They have like the money, they have the doctors, they have everything, and I have, already been told this other condition that I have, so I'm like, but I'm not really trying to beat that guy. I'm really not. I'm just.
Oh yeah, I know. Nietzsche wrote several books, and he talked a lot about what's called the will to power, and basically that principle, the will to power, is the will to inhabit your body and your mind fully and to keep yourself alive. If you don't have the will to power, whether you're rich or poor, it doesn't matter, you're going to be one of these whining ass people that goes to the doctor every time they got a cold. It's like, somebody flips you off while you're driving in traffic, and it's the end of the world, and you're going to get thrown by every little tiny tragedy that happens in life. But the will to power gives you the ability to say, oh, fuck, I got a cold, I'm not going to go to the emergency room. How about I just pop some vitamin C and get in my nice warm bed? Or, oh, fuck, I got a flat tire. Instead of calling AAA, I'll change it myself. Oh, fuck, this person was mean to me, but fuck them, I'm going to do it anyways. That's the will to power. And then some people take that too far, and this is where Nietzsche fell short, is that he never really mentioned the will to balance. You have to balance your power with compassion and truth and restraint. So Donald Trump definitely has the will to power. Hillary Clinton definitely has the will to power. creepy, sleepy Joe Biden definitely has the will to power. And you're never going to make it in life unless you have the will to power. But some people take it too far, and these are the psychopaths and the narcissists. But you don't have to. And so how does that apply to the coronavirus thing? I think, I'm here. It's freezing where I'm at. I'm really cold. It's probably 55, and I'm cold. And I feel like, well, I'm not 100%. Maybe I'm coming down with a cold, but I'm not going to go running off, and I'm not going to wash my hands every 5 minutes. And, I'm just going to live a normal life. And I know that my very excellent, strong spirit is inhabiting my body, and I have a will to power, a will to stay alive. And that's what people need in this time. I'm not saying... I called not to talk about this shit, but the video you showed had that black doctor from the emergency room talking about how, we can't test everybody because it requires lab work, and we can't do all the lab work. And I'm seeing all these reports of false positives on the COVID-19 tests where people are going in. I have a cold, I have a runny nose, I have a fever, I think I have the virus, but they don't even have the capacity to do all the lab work to positively identify these people who might have colds or some other flu. And so all these numbers are being added to the COVID-19 scare. That's one thing that I wanted to bring up, and I welcome anybody with any information opposite that or the same as that. I don't care. I don't need to be right. I would rather just learn the truth, But another thing is on a political scale with this worldwide recession that we're in. We're definitely in a worldwide recession now. Everybody's staying home. Everybody's watching their pocketbook. Everybody's watching the TV. They might be scared. They might be chilling. I think the stoners are chilling. You and me, we're chilling. And we ain't got a lot of bucks, my bank account is not large, okay?
Yeah.
So
I depend on the kindness of strangers.
Yeah.
And it's my birthday. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, politically speaking, every time there's a crisis, that's when the elite and the rich people and the politicians and the government, I hate that word, government, that's when they hop in and they put the kibosh on your freedoms. They try to restrict this. They're already doing it. They try to restrict that. They'll create, and they are creating panics. And I'm not arguing with suppressing the curve theory. I know there's a limited amount of respirators. There's a limited amount of ICU space. So, suppressing the curve is a good thing. This is an unprecedented global phenomena, but what happened during every other crisis, the government, no matter where you live, came in and restricted your human rights, and in America we would call them, our civil rights, the Bill of Rights, and the, freedom of expression. You got COVID-19 warnings on every goddamn YouTube video on YouTube right now. COVID-19, correct information here, So any alternate opinion, like the one I just stated, like I think 50 to 80% of the cases are incorrectly diagnosed. They don't have the lab work in on all those people, so they just stick them in the category. And so this is what we got to watch out for on the political and the civil spectrum in that space, is to make sure that we don't become sheep. We're not afraid, and any restrictions on our freedom is immediately met by the people with a strong rebuttal of some kind. I see that danger. Every historian states the danger. Last night I was talking about the Hegelian dialectic, which is, what was it? Thesis, synthesis, antithesis, and synthesis. That's the procedure they go through to try to squish more of your civil rights, and we're going to see that. So I just want to warn everybody, hey man, you don't have to obey the authorities, you know. If a cop stops you for driving around, why aren't you in quarantine or whatever, tell him to fuck off. There's no law. Wait.
If a cop stops to tell you something, the first thing you say to him is, what, officer? And then reach out to shake his hand and see what he says to you next.
Yeah. I've seen the videos where the guy keeps his window rolled up, but he slaps a pre-made sign up that says, I have COVID-19. So, yeah, I mean, this is the time when they're going to try to fuck us. And that's what, besides happy birthday, that's what I wanted to say, man. It's like, we got to be really careful right now. I don't think we're getting accurate science, and I think there's something.
Yeah, well, what you're talking about is partially what I've been saying, you know, for the last week or so about this at war with the COVID virus thing. You know, this is very dangerous terminology, and that's why I pointed it out, because this at war thing, it means it always winds up being a war on us, you guys. It always has, it always will, and I don't like, you know, I mean, I don't want to see war on our shores.
Well, never let a good crisis go to waste.
Absolutely.
That's the government line, man. It's like, people are afraid over here. What can we get out of it? So, you know, just like in, what was it, 2008 banking crisis, or was that 2000? Yeah, 2008.
Yeah.
What did they do? They bailed out the banks, and people lost their homes.
Yeah.
And the banks bought up all the empty houses, and now the banks own millions of empty houses while there's millions of homeless people with no homes.
Yeah.
So, you know, they took advantage of that crisis, and something like that is probably going to happen through this.
Yeah, like you said, never let a crisis go to waste.
Right. Yeah. So be on your guard, people. It's like I haven't figured it out yet, but if there's a way they can fuck us, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
Man.
Hey, Michael, I'm going to let Dwayne, I can hear Dwayne still talking to Craig downstairs, so I'm going to let him chime in, okay?
All right, tell Dwayne I said hi.
All right, well, thanks a lot for calling. It's good to hear from you, and we'll talk again soon. Okay, thank you very much.
Goodbye.
Bye. And that's our buddy Michael from Southern California. It's very nice of him to donate, and I will be taking a dab for him momentarily. Because that's what we do. It's Dabs for Donation Day on my birthday. And actually we did this all week long. That's why we started off with a nice dab for Jackie Cat. And I have a nice one here for Michael. And we're going to heat up the bong in just a minute. But I want to talk to Dwayne first, because I don't want to make a bunch of noise. Hello, caller.
Michael Knight, how are you this evening?
Hey, Dwayne, thanks for holding. It's very nice to hear from you.
Not a problem. Happy birthday, my friend.
Happy birthday. Thank you. That's good to, it's another year, you know. It's no big deal. But you know, I mean, guys aren't the same as, like, you know, chicks. So, but thank you. It's very nice.
Hey, no problem, man. And hey, it was great to listen to Mike from Southern California. You know, he had on, he's thinking, you know what I mean? Like, he's thinking kind of right about a lot of this stuff. And I just wanted to say, like, this is a great show. I really like hearing from him. I care about him. I wish him well in this crazy, crazy world. I really, really do.
Yeah.
And, you know, especially in California where they're all on lockdown, like, whatever.
Right.
But, you know, I don't know what to say, but Mike in Southern California, stay safe. Mike, Mox News, you stay safe, my friend. And as well, you know, this was going on. It's crazy. I'm going to get a whole ton of money from the government. I'm not out of work yet, but because
you're going to get money from the government?
Well, because I have children, eh?
Right on.
They're just going to be giving out. I think I'm going to be getting $1,800 next month for just having that many children. It's like $300 a child, right?
Oh, awesome, Dwayne. That's really cool, man.
So, but you know what? You know what's really crazy? I'm taking my paycheck tomorrow, and I'm going to go out and panic buy.
Oh,
How about
yeah?
that? Oh, yeah. Oh,
What are
yeah.
you going to panic buy?
Well, I'm going to see if there's toilet paper there. If there's not, but you know what? I'll buy like one package, okay?
Uh-huh.
And like I asked my boss for the day off tomorrow. I'm like, look, man, like all the welfare people in Ontario get their money tomorrow, so they're all going to be going to the store for the first time in a month. So let me take the day off. Come on, call in someone else. So she did. What an awesome boss I have.
It sounds like you have an awesome boss, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm going to show up at Walmart probably with a coffee and and I'm going to fill my gas tank and I'm going to bring all my gas canisters here. It's 80 cents a liter right now in Southern Ontario. So that's in Canadian dollars, what a gallon's basically 4 liters, I think, 3.8, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's 80 cents a liter. That's a drop of 30% in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Awesome.
So I'm just.
I think it's like Craig said it was like $2.70 a gallon here, something like that. But we have a friend who owns a gas station, and he said that he can buy gas right now for $1.50 a gallon. But that doesn't include tax and stuff because he doesn't have to pay that. You know, the people pay that. So.
Yeah, and if you ever notice too that the gas prices at the pump is actually about 3 days after what happens in the market. So I think it's actually, now, oil was up like 25% today. You know, now, so it was down, I don't even know how much it was down. It was $60 on January 1st.
Yeah.
You know, so now it's at 25 again. I'm going to buy gas for my lawnmower, for my garden tractor, for my van, obviously. And, there's a bunch of other things we're going to end up buying. I don't think this is Mad Max quite yet, but I'm going to stock up on batteries. I'm going to score myself some vitamin C and D, and some lighters, because I was reading a story about what happened during, Kosovo. When that place kind of went into war and everything. And, like, lighters...
Kosovo is hell, dude. Kosovo is hell.
Yeah, well, a lighter
yeah.
was the currency of these people.
Yeah.
Lighters.
Well.
And, so...
It was cold. It's fucking cold there, too. But it's cold where you are, huh?
Oh, not really. It was, we're supposed to get a nice thunderstorm tonight, so we're at like 15 Canadian degrees. I think it's about 52 right now, Yankee degrees.
Yeah.
But, so...
That sounds nice. I like that. That sounds great.
It is. It's really wet right now, though. And we've got all our seedlings that we just started from seed on our table. We've got tons and tons of tomato plants right now that we're starting for our garden. We're getting a dozen chicken eggs a day. So, things are going really well.
Yeah, you said you were getting a dozen. You said you got 15 the other day or something.
Yeah, well, yeah, between 12 and 15 a day.
Yeah, awesome.
12 on
That's
a crappy
great.
day.
Yeah.
And every now and then the goose will eat a couple of them.
No raccoon problem, though.
No. You know what, though? Like, if Mad Max happens, man, we're going to have to actually hide our chickens. We're going to have to kill the roosters and kill the geese.
Huh. Just so people don't know that you have them, huh?
Well, yeah, everyone in my neighborhood kind of already knows I have them anyways. But,
It's not going Mad Max, dude. It's not like, a lot of people have to die for it to go Mad Max. This is... I don't see that happening. Well, we'll see.
I don't see the virus causing that.
Yeah.
Economic collapse is going to cause that.
You're just hoping. That's your hope. You've been hoping for economic collapse for years.
No, I want fair money, like what Ron Paul talks about.
Hey, I don't dispute you there.
We need constitutional money. Like our our change is made out of sterling silver, not even sterling. Like, no, what's the word? Stainless steel. Like, come on. That's our money now.
Yeah.
You know, the fall of the Roman Empire started once they started clipping the coins. You know, it's the same thing. They took the silver out of the money. Now there's not even nickel and copper in the money. It's steel. So, you know, that's what's happening. And of course, look at the stock market. I knew they were going to pump it up today, at least get a positive day. Because I think they're going to scare the living shit out of the world when it collapses tomorrow. They might bring it down another 2,000 points tomorrow because they like having this fear going into the weekend.
Huh.
They like that, you know. Or maybe it goes straight up tomorrow. And they say, look, we fixed the problem. But the problem is debt. The problem is government debt. And governments all over the world, Canada's throwing out $85 billion that we don't fucking have to give us all money, just like in the United States. And it's like exactly 10 times because your population is 10 times the size of ours. You know, what's Trump given to all the Americans? I think it was like $700 billion, right?
I don't know.
Something like that. So, you know, like they're making this money out of thin air. Eventually, like when money is lost in the stock market, it doesn't go to money heaven. It goes to somebody else.
I hear you. That's what I always think too. I always think, you know, they say, oh, you know, $1 trillion lost off the stock market, and I'm thinking, it wasn't lost, fuckers. Somebody else scooped up the majority of it.
That's right. That's right. And it seems like the Federal Reserve, it seems like what's happening right now is they're buying all this shit up. They're actually buying everything. And they're telling small businesses and small restaurants that, you know, you can't open, but we'll give you loans to stay alive.
Yeah.
Loans. Like, oh, man, that's terrible. Terrible. They just shut down the 3 major auto plants in this area. Where I live, they make the Chrysler Pacifica. Okay.
Yeah, it's just another big giveaway to the banks and stuff. They should just fucking say all mortgage payments are stopped for the time being. All mortgage payments, all car payments, you know, just as long as nobody's selling cars, because nobody's selling cars, right? Everybody's at home, right? So nobody's selling cars. The guy that has the gas station, he says nobody's fucking getting any kind of fucking work on their cars at all. So, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's I don't know. I lost my train of thought. Go ahead, Dwayne.
It's almost like it's a nationalization of everything. Which, if you think about it, look, like if that's the case, then Trump's a fucking Nazi. Because that's exactly what happens. Is the government takes over business.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't even think, it's not really even the government, because the Federal Reserve and the Central Bank of Canada, they're not part of the government.
Yeah.
They're just a big monolith bank. And there's how many of them around the world? Like 7? You know, so these major printers of the currency, they're the ones that they're the ones that we gotta take out. They're the ones enslaving humanity with a buck. We fucking kill each other over dollars, man.
Yeah.
Like in that song
hear you.
You know, in the song by Hank Williams Jr. there, you know, Country Boy Can't Survive. You know, my friend lost for $25, my friend lost his life. You know, like think about it. Life is so cheap that way. And you know, with what's coming up, I'm going to walk into town tomorrow and just look like a total bum. I'm not going to wear any nice clothes. I'm going to wear fucking track pants that have holes in them and go shopping and clean out the store. I hope so. And if I can, if the store's already empty when I get there first thing in the morning tomorrow, we're fucked.
You're not fucked. You've been preparing for this shit forever. What do you mean you're fucked?
Then I'm fucked. I don't have a store anymore. You know, it'll take, you know, I got no problems with my garden. Next thing I have to worry about is protecting it.
Mm.
So, I just think it's economic collapse, man. And you know, I've been screaming that for a long time. You know, I really, really believe that. They're buying up everything. The next thing that's going to happen, there's going to be bank runs. There's going to be runs on the banks ASAP. It's coming. That's why I'm going to go take out all my money tomorrow. And I'm going to go put it into good.
Well, I I don't know, Dwayne. You know what? If they're printing money as fast as they can, the majority of it's all going to go to the banks. This is what I'm saying: is that this giveaway to the people, it just comes to the people and goes immediately to the banks. So,
well, we're also going to, by doing this buying of all the stuff in the stores, okay, like it's also going to start bidding up stuff. Hyperinflation could be coming too, because they're creating this money and they're actually putting this money into society. Now, yes, it could be going to the banks and stuff, but, you know, of my paycheck, I'm going to spend probably 50% of it tomorrow on stuff, not to a bank. I'll use the rest of that money for my rent in the bank. Well, and I don't really owe the bank anything anyway. I mean, like insurance.
Right. What I'm saying, Dwayne, is that with these government giveaways, where they're going to give away $1 trillion to make sure that people have money, that money is just going straight to the banks, because they're not canceling mortgage payments. They're not canceling, they're not saying, okay, there's no business being done, so the banks aren't going to continue to charge mortgages and all this shit, right? Because there's no business. If that's not going to happen, then yeah, that's done there too. And that way, and then they could give money to the people, and then the people will actually have money for the next 3 months if they need money. But this shit where they're gonna go, oh, well, here's money for the people. It's not for the people. It's going straight to the banks, and the vast majority of everything that's being printed always goes straight to the bank. So,
Well, yeah, in a way. But look, we're going to start bidding up all these products that are in the grocery stores. Eventually, when it all runs out, no matter what, we're always going to have produce, right? Now, maybe Ontario might suffer because, we get all our lettuce from California. So, obviously they're closing borders.
It's not like you can't live without fucking lettuce.
Yeah, I know, but where I live, there's tons and tons of tomatoes. We're the tomato capital of the world.
Yeah, I thought you said your son's a brilliant tomato grower.
Well, yeah, he is.
Yeah.
But we actually happen to live in, there's tons of tomatoes everywhere. There's massive greenhouses for tomatoes and dope, really. But, and that poor town where all the greenhouses are growing all the Ontario marijuana didn't even get a store in the bids.
Yeah, that's so stupid. So are people being told to, avoid going to the grocery store or shelter in place there, Dwayne, or what's the...
Not yet. They've closed all municipal buildings, like all city services, except like garbage pickup and the police and fire.
What about like movie theaters and stuff like that?
Oh, no, that stuff's all been closed down too.
Yeah.
So the same thing's happening to us, basically. Now, we're not being told to shelter in place.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah, we're not getting that here either. In Washington.
No.
Yeah.
And it sounds like it's going to be in California, maybe even New York City, but even watching that, like, obviously de Blasio and Cuomo are having arguments back and forth about doing that. But, no, I've been watching this stuff, and, but, like, government services are all shutting down, and, they're saying, oh, if you got to get your tag for your car, we're going to delay that so you can drive around with expired plates for now and all that stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just kind of wondering, like, what's going to happen when this all blows over? Because I really don't believe this is, honestly, like this massive killer flu. I really don't believe that, and even if it is, just keep your immune system strong. And like, honestly, we live out in the country, me and my family, and we're kind of away from everybody else.
Yeah.
We like it here. We'll be, since my kids are off for, well, they're homeschooled anyway, but even, now they can go outside during the day, and we're going to be working on the garden, getting it ready to plant.
Hell yeah.
For the next 2 weeks.
Right on. That's awesome.
That's how we're going to kind of go through this. There really is no change for us, other than, I was kind of caught flat-footed last week, when I should have already had these kind of essentials. I should have learned from previous stuff. I should have learned from what a pastor says. I should have learned what the Bible says, storing up things that you need.
I thought you've been doing this, Dwayne. This is what you've been telling me, because you've been preparing for this shit for a long time.
I had been, but I kind of went slack, especially when you got lots of money coming in. And not massive amounts of money either, but, you know, like enough to provide for a family of 8.
Yeah.
You know, and you just, I got into a thing, I'll be honest with you, where I was just like, okay, all my extra money, I was buying silver.
Yeah.
Now, okay, that's going to bring me into the next financial system. I'll be able to buy into the next system with that stuff. Or barter, I don't know exactly what it's going to do. But, you know, like, so I was spending all my money on that. And then it's like, all right, well, wait a minute. Maybe I should not have been spending so much money on that and make sure I have stored flour and rice and beans. And I already did anyway, but I should have done a better job. So when I was caught flat-footed last weekend, I was kind of like, fuck, man, that wasn't smart. So I'm fixing that. I learned my lesson, you know? So.
Yeah, when you got that many people relying on you, you definitely got to be prepared.
Yeah, much more so than I was.
Yeah, much more so than me. I don't have to be prepared. Fuck, whatever. You know, but you got people that are depending on you to lead them through the shadow of the valley of death. You know, so and you can do it, Dwayne.
I know, man. You know, there's 6 children here that I have to feed. I can go. You know, I know how to go time without eating. I can fast. I can, you know. If it was just me, it'd be a piece of cake.
Yeah.
If it was just me and my wife, it'd be easy.
Yeah.
You know? When we both had minimum wage jobs before we had children, we traveled the whole country and back like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And on minimum wage jobs.
Yeah.
So, you know, we have to make sure we take care of them. So most of my resources are going into make sure they're going to be okay. And I mean for the long haul.
Yeah.
Like they're talking 2 weeks. This could be 6 months.
We'll see, Dwayne. It's not like the grocery stores are going to shut down. They're making too much money. They're not going to shut down, trust me.
Well, no, and you know what? Like, there's obviously things you're going to have to do, you know, like, when it comes to shit tickets, right? Like, you know, cutting, whatever. They had cloth diapers. I was raised on cloth diapers. My mom just used to throw them in a pail full of bleach.
Yeah, I don't know, Dwayne. I
wipe your ass with an old T-shirt, man. Like, and throw it in a bucket with bleach.
Again, this toilet paper thing is just not on my radar, dude. I know. Craig keeps talking about, man, I gotta get some toilet paper, but
no, I'm gonna make sure 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm at Walmart and I'm gonna have my buggy there next to all these fat women and stuff, eh? And I'm just gonna run down the aisle towards the toilet paper section. I'm gonna veer into them and crash their cart into a display or something. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it.
Well, you do what you gotta do, bro.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And you know, I'm gonna, if I have anything else left over, I'm gonna, you know, probably purchase some silver as well. I'll probably consider giving a donation to Mox News as well.
Is silver going up the last week or so, Dwayne?
Well, it's going up tonight. No, it's crashed. In U.S. currency, it's down to $12.50 an ounce.
Wow, that seems kind of low.
Yeah, well, go to APMEX and see that they're selling U.S. Eagles for $22.50. So, you know, obviously the physical has separated from the paper market anyways.
Yeah.
You can watch the ticker on Market Watch or any website that shows the silver and gold price.
Yeah.
That's not what you're going to have to pay for. Guaranteed. You can just go to APMEX yourself and check out that you know, the big American kind of distributor of silver, one of them. And right now it's $22.95 an ounce for a U.S. Eagle. A 999 1 ounce fine silver eagle.
Yeah.
And the price is $12.50. So they're $10 over spot. It's almost double the price just for the premium.
That's
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's definitely a lot.
Yeah, so there's absolutely no connection anymore. You'd be a doofus if you go out and sell silver and gold at these prices. You'd be absolutely a mental case to sell at this point. Buy. Now, mind you, there's something called a gold to silver ratio. I'd be buying silver right now because it's never been this high. You know, where 1 ounce of gold will buy 125 ounces of silver. like, I love talking this stuff. I don't want to bore you with that, but it's never been this high. So sell gold to buy silver, or just buy silver.
Interesting. Well, how's Jane doing?
She's good. She's actually thinning out our seedlings as we're talking right now.
Your seasonings?
Seedlings.
Oh, seedlings. Cool. That's
yeah,
awesome.
She's thinning them out so they don't grow too close together.
Yeah, gardening is, gardening is one of these things that's just like a basic human thing, that we do. And I think it's really important to do these basic human things like walking. Nobody walks anymore, and I always think gardening is like really just so good for, your entire being.
It is. It really is. It really actually, like, there's something about it. And, we just have all these little, all our starter kits on the kitchen table.
Cool.
We move them from one window to another window in the morning.
Yeah.
Move it to another window in the afternoon.
Nice.
They're getting lots of sun, and they're all doing really well. And like my favorite tomato to grow are these heirloom Romas. Like seriously, we got some really awesome strains of tomatoes right now. We got heirloom Romas. We got heirloom Cherokee purples. We got about 12 different heirloom types of tomatoes.
Nice.
Now, I'm going to kind of slow down on the different types. I might as well just go for a couple of really good ones.
Yeah.
But look, heirloom Romas are the best tomatoes around for canning. My wife, she canned 135 jars.
Nice. Wow, you are so lucky, Dwayne.
So, and it's a whole family thing where the kids get involved, and I go out and and we started garlic before the winter.
Excellent.
That's a 2-year process.
Wow, I did not know that.
It's really awesome, man. Gardening is really fun. It really, really is. And all my children are in on it. And, it's just really awesome. We managed to save so many, last year we harvested all, the best tomatoes or a couple of the best tomatoes. You just scoop out the seeds first. You throw the flesh into a pot and make, tomato sauce and salsa.
Yeah.
And I bought my wife a pressure cooker. So,
nice.
Oh man, we can preserve the stuff in water. When you start pickling stuff, the flavor's gone.
Yeah, I hear you.
It just tastes like vinegar. You know what I mean? Like it just,
right, and the flavor becomes overpowering just that one thing.
Yeah, like it's better to do it in water. That's my opinion, okay? But it's just really awesome stuff, man.
Right on, Dwayne. Well, I'm really glad to hear things are going where you are, and I'm glad to hear from you. Please tell Jane Mike says hi.
I will. And hey, you take care of Mike. Be safe. And everyone in the chat room and everyone listening, be safe. And, peace, love, and happiness.
Right on. Well, back at you, Dwayne. Thanks for calling, bro.
Yes, bye-bye.
Bye. And that's our buddy Dwayne from the Great White North. And I have a video here of a COVID patient in the hospital, and he's talking about what he's gone through and how the doctors basically said they got nothing. So and that's the way I see doctors all the time. They're just guessing. So I thought you'd want to see this. I found that very interesting. Him saying the doctors tell him that they have nothing they can do.
Tonight, Florida beaches are still crowded despite the coronavirus pandemic. This is what it looked like today on the shores from the Daytona Beach all the way down to Cocoa Beach, Florida. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida refusing to close beaches statewide, but some local leaders, like the mayor of Miami Beach, are overruling him and issuing their own orders for closure. Out front now, someone who has a message for those who are not heeding those warnings, who perhaps are filling those beaches. Kevin Harris, he is 55 years old from Ohio, battling coronavirus right now in the hospital. And Kevin, you have been in that hospital for nearly 2 weeks. How did this start for you?
Well, about 2 weeks ago, it started with a little tickle in my throat. I'm kind of a time fanatic, so I looked at my watch at exactly 8 o'clock on Monday night, and I was telling my friend, I got something stuck in my throat. It won't come out my throat. And it kind of just kept going. And about 2 hours later, at 10 o'clock, I had a cough. And now I'm telling him, dude, I went from a tickle to a cough in 2 hours. I'm getting the flu. And the next morning I woke up from sleeping all night, and I woke up with body aches and what I thought was the flu.
And then what made you end up going to the hospital, Kevin?
Well, initially that next day I had a doctor's appointment just for a checkup. And I went in and they looked at me, no tests, no nothing. They said, you got the flu, and they gave me Tamiflu. So I left the doctor's office, went to the CVS pharmacy, and the girls there, they usually go inside and pick all my medication up. But I told them, I said, look, I'm so sick. Whatever kind of flu I got, you guys don't need to get it. And I got my Tamiflu through the window. So I go home, and 3 days later, they're telling me I'm supposed to feel better on a Tamiflu, but I feel 10 times worse. So I called a friend of mine, and his wife came over. I wanted to take a shower because I haven't been in a shower in 6 days. And she comes over, and I'm passed out in the shower. And basically, she came in, she got me dressed. She told me, you have pneumonia, and she took me to the hospital.
And I mean, look, it's incredible. It's incredibly lucky that you got there. And now, as I said, you've been there for nearly 2 weeks. And what are doctors telling you about where you are now? Just to make it clear, you're now looking at 2 weeks plus the 5+ days that you're talking about. I mean, this has been a very, very long period of time that you've had this and been in incredibly difficult straits. So what are they telling you now?
Well, now they're telling me I'm going to make it. But to be quite frank with you, several doctors told me for 4 days when I first got here, you don't have the coronavirus, but we have to test you and we have to treat you like you have it. Well, some staff members did treat me like I had it. Other staff members were just consistently stuck with the fact that you have pneumonia. We've never seen this kind before, but you don't have the coronavirus. It's highly unlikely. You haven't been anywhere, which I hadn't. I do these things where I spend a lot of time alone, and I hadn't seen anybody else for like 10 days before I actually got sick. So they're telling me, you're going to be fine. As soon as the cultures come back, we're going to know what kind of pneumonia it is, and we're going to treat it. But you don't have the coronavirus. You don't have the same signs. You don't have the same symptoms. You don't have half of what you should have if it was the coronavirus. I said, okay. And then 2 days later, I got two doctors sitting in front of me, one of them with tears in her eyes. And I'm like, what's going on? And they said, we don't understand it, but you have the coronavirus. I'm like, you just told me for 3 days I don't have the virus. They said, well, we don't know what to do. I said, well, what's next? And they basically said, pray. I'm like, how do doctors tell you to pray? What are you going to do to fix me? There's nothing we can do. We have no treatment. There's nothing we can give you. It's your body. Your body has to fight it. And they left the room, and I'm sitting there thinking, I'm getting ready to die. Well, just yesterday, the fever's been gone for 3.5, almost 4 days now. And yesterday they told me, the one doctor promised me, he'd tell me when I was out of the woods. And he said, you're out of the woods. The only problem is we have no clue why you got better. We have no clue what kind of pneumonia you had. There's absolutely no reason whatsoever for you to be sitting here.
Well, it is an incredible story and incredible for people to hear. What people on the front lines, what those doctors are doing, right? Something they'd never seen before, and they did everything that they absolutely could for you, Kevin. What do you say to? And look, let's be honest. Many people are following what the government says now, right? You see empty roads, you see empty subways, you see it across the country, but we don't see it everywhere, right? I don't know if you've seen the pictures. I'll show them again to people. Spring breakers crowding the shores in Florida. Many of those beaches still open. It's packed. What do you say? What is your message to people who don't take this seriously?
In the beginning, I was a little angry because I felt like I'm here dying and they're not taking it seriously. I'm as black as they come. We can get this. And it just amazes me how everybody's out there celebrating St. Patrick's Day. They're calling me the doomsday guy. A lot of them think that you guys are paying me to do these interviews, and they're doubting me. And instead of me getting angry like I had been, I'm telling people, I hope to God you're right. I hope you don't get it and nobody that you know get it, because I don't have the sniffles version. I don't have the sore throat. You know, I don't have the little body ache. I had the version of this that kills you, and there was absolutely nothing they could do about it. It's by the grace of God and the prayers of all the people that have been praying for me. And I swear, if it wasn't for Jehovah God and my faith in him and Jesus Christ, I'd be gone already. These people have to take this serious. I know you're going to be inconvenienced for a while with social distancing. However, do you want to be socially dead 6 months from now? The same people that are going to miss you for a couple of months are going to miss you forever when you didn't take this seriously.
All right. Well, Kevin, I appreciate your time, and I am so glad that you now have been told you're out of the woods. And we are all hoping for, at this point, a very speedy recovery after such a long and grueling and terrible experience for you. Thank you.
And thank you, Aaron. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity to let people know that this is deathly serious.
Okay, so this is a dab for Michael, and I know it doesn't look as big as the last one, but trust me when I say it's very, very close. And there's my Boo Bear. What are you doing, Buggy? Huh? There's my Boo Bear. Huh? How's my Boo? Oh, look at that smile. You're such a pretty Boo Bear. And then there's my girl up on the down by the river. My Boo Bear's all smiley boy. He's such a smiley boy. You are. What a beautiful baby you are. You know I love my beautiful baby. You know I do.
All right. Happy birthday. You ready?
Happy
you ready?
birthday,
you ready?
Rufus.
You ready? You ready? What's
Happy
happening?
birthday, Sammy.
What's happening?
Ooh, what's that?
What's happening?
Puppuccinos.
Oh,
Puppuccinos.
You gotta get the.
Oh.
Gotta get the Starbucks.
Oh yeah, well, maybe we'll get an ad, right?
Yeah.
Paid placement.
Get
Here
new
you go,
sponsorship.
Starbucks.
Our new sponsor. Thanks
Unofficial.
so much.
Unofficial.
Well, unofficial.
Unofficial dog.
I'm sorry, Michael. I wasn't able to give you the puff because somebody was messing with the mouse. When I'm trying to get my shit, when I'm trying to give you a puff. So, but that was a good one. Trust me. It was very, very nice. Even though I couldn't let you see it. Although you did see me take it, so. Okay, so here we are. This is your Wake and Bake News at 7 p.m. It's 8:34. We have updated the coronavirus multiple times this evening. I have an update from Germany. I have an update from a Chinese reporter. I have an update from local Seattle news. I have I have a Tucker clip about, okay, well, go ahead. Okay. I'm waiting on you. Again, I have a Tucker clip. This talks about this not being just a thing that's going to hurt elderly people. Hello, caller.
How did the nigger get the coronavirus?
Do what now?
How did the nigger get the coronavirus?
Is that a joke? Oh well. Craig talked to that guy for 5 minutes. And then he comes on and that's what he has to offer. Oh well. And again, I just don't understand. I mean, there's got to be something more intelligent for you to say than that. I mean, you can say, obviously, I thought it was a joke. I was waiting for you to finish, but I don't understand why you can't come up with something even remotely intelligent. You could say anything. You could do a joke. That's what I thought you were doing. I didn't want to interrupt. So, and what I was saying is that you need to eat more marijuana because
sometimes life can be a little
stress is
overwhelming.
The real killer. Look at how stressed out these people are.
Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear.
Overwhelmed.
Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb. The real sticky icky. Some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want. All at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
And again, the reason that I emphasize this is because, they say stress is the real killer. And I'm telling you, there's so much stress in the air right now. That this is the easiest, most natural way to relieve stress. And hopefully you have an organic, vegan grower, and you just get the most choice flowers, and you get exactly what you need, because everyone needs this, especially now. So eat more marijuana, grow your own. That way you know that you're getting the choice flowers grown exactly the way you like. I will be starting that this week. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, it's Steve.
Hey, Steve, what's happening, bro?
Oh, nothing much. Happy birthday.
Thanks, man. I thought it was Steven. You go by Steve?
Either or. I was in ROTC, so you know how that goes. You also got your last name that you end up, every single time you hear your last name, your head pops up also.
Sure. So what's happening? How's the food delivery business, Steven?
I haven't actually ended up doing any.
Huh? Really?
Well, I have. Yeah, no. The thing is that I've been paying attention to.
To what?
Truth. I've been paying attention to the sickness for months and months and months.
Oh, okay.
And the thing is that now it's absolutely here, you know, in my hometown. It's like right across the street kind of stuff, you know?
Uh-huh.
You know, so I mean, like, at that.
Hello?
You know, with people. You know what I mean?
You cut out. We didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, I just don't go out and do anything with anyone, you know?
Sure. Do what you got to do to make sure you feel safe, man. You don't want to feel stupid. Yeah. You don't want to feel like you did something stupid and then you get sick and you're like, "Oh, that was dumb. Why was I so dumb?"
Yeah, I know. That's pretty much why I'm just hanging out by myself and not going out and not doing anything with anyone, you know? Like, it's okay to sit around and, you know, watch some movies and some TV shows and then naps and, you know, wake up and make some dinner and, you know, enjoy yourself.
Sure, that's the life, man. That's honestly, I believe that's what you know, being top of the food chain means, Stephen, is to relax and enjoy everything there is, because that's what it means to be top of the food chain. There's no reason for you to be stressed. There's no reason to be fearful. Of course, this is a different scenario, so.
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing is that even President Trump ended up saying this, like, this is an invisible illness. You know, we gotta fight it. You know, even though we can't see it, we gotta fight this invisible illness. And I'm like, well, I've been doing that for 14 years, you know? I mean, like, technically fibromyalgia is called the invisible disease.
Uh-huh.
You know, or, you know, what it is. So, you know, I'm a little bit worried about catching coronavirus with my fibromyalgia. You know, like people with AIDS should be a little bit worried about catching coronavirus also.
People should be concerned. You should take proper measures.
Yeah. Here. There we go. I took you off the speaker, that way I can hear you better. Probably you can hear me better.
Maybe. Go ahead.
Oh, but yeah, I mean, like, okay, so you know that clip you just showed of that guy in that hospital?
Yeah.
Do you know how the doctors treated him?
No.
Well, you know, the doctors basically.
Oh, you mean the way he described his doctor's treatment?
Yeah, the way he described it.
Sure, yeah, I know what he said.
Well, I've been dealing with that for like my last 14 years, you know. There's no test that they can do for fibromyalgia. You know, I legitimately experience the same symptoms as they do, you know.
Yeah,
the only way that...
Go ahead.
Well, the only way that I know that I ain't got that, you know, is that, you know, I got to check my list of 30-plus symptoms to go ahead and see, oh, well, you know, I don't have that one right now. But then I end up looking at the list of coronavirus symptoms, and then I end up cross-referencing, you know, 20% of the people with fibromyalgia have this symptom, while only 4% of the people with coronavirus have the symptom. Well, you know, if I'm doing that kind of mathematics where, you know, 4% of the people have that, but I always have that, and, you know, I don't feel like I have that illness, but 16% of the people with coronavirus have it, but I don't have it. You know what I mean? Like...
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I experienced something very similar when I was diagnosed with my lung condition. They said, we don't know what causes it, and we don't know how to cure it, and you're probably going to die from a cold, but we can control it with these inhalable steroids, you know, which drove me completely insane.
Yeah, those inhalable steroids. I mean, like, to tell you the truth, I really do think that they somehow affect the brain chemistry.
Sure. Yeah. So, well, they made me intensely emotional, and I couldn't deal with anything, and
No, that's exactly what I was gonna like. That's exactly what I was alluding to. Is that it would make you, you know, angry, happy, sad, and indifferent.
Yeah. So, anyways, Stephen. So, listen, bud. Just again, you get through the flu every year, you know, and I know this is a whole lot scarier than the flu, but every year every year they try and scare us with the flu. Also,
I know, but not everyone catches the flu at the same time.
Yeah, well, I don't know that everyone has caught the coronavirus.
No, not everyone. Like there are pockets of people, like in my generation, that are just like me and as legit as I am. So legitimately, I'm not joking. The only way that these people knew about the coronavirus for the last week was that they ended up going online and they didn't see their regular content creator, you know, cartoons. They ended up seeing something about wash your hands. You know, there are people that legitimately just this week have just found out about the coronavirus.
I suppose there will be people next week who just next week found out about the coronavirus also.
Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is that I'm not so sure, like, the kids in my generation, like, a lot of them are extroverts, okay? But, you know, sometimes you get those introverted people. But, I mean, like, did you hear that Trump ended up, like, yelling at all the high school kids and college kids for going out and partying because it's spring break?
No, I didn't hear that Trump yelled at them. He scolded them. He scolded them somehow.
Yeah, he was at his presser and he ended up scolding Florida just for having that spring break and not even caring about it, you know. And do you know the German people? The German people are acting like nothing is happening at all. Germany, in a month, I'm so sorry for those people.
Actually, I have a clip from the German news about what's going on in Germany.
Hey, the funny thing is I saw a meme on the internet where, you know, it was like two guys, you know, talking about like, well, it was Italy turning to Germany and going, you know, we have so many bodies here, we just can't burn them quick enough. And then the German guy goes, you know, hot, you know, first time. And I'm like, damn, you know.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing, Stephen. All right, well, it's good to hear from you. Again, look, man, you got to stay chill. You're clearly not eating enough marijuana, and I don't know how more clearly I can put that.
What happens if I inject the marijuana?
Yeah, I don't think you can do that. So it's not a joke, Stephen.
I was clearly joking.
When I say this, right, but what I'm saying is not a joke. So I promise you, if you eat more marijuana, you will feel so much better. So please give it a try.
Oh yeah, I definitely will. In fact, I'm saving a few of my edibles, so when I end up running out of my smokables, I'll be able to go ahead and have some edibles.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good.
Hey, and give Rufus and Pooh Bear treats and hugs for me, okay?
You bet. They get that.
Have fun.
Okay, thanks, Stephen. Good to hear from you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye. It's Stephen from Reno. Let's see. I do have a clip, an update from Germany on what the precautions they are taking. So I thought maybe you guys would want to see that, especially since Stephen says they're not doing anything at all.
Well, here in Europe, Germany has recorded another sharp increase in the number of new infections.
Right.
The Disease Control Center for the country says that confirmed cases were up by 1/3 to nearly 11,000. The military is now preparing to play a bigger role in dealing with this outbreak. The country's defense minister, Annegret Kramp-Karrenbauer, says that thousands of reserve soldiers will be called up. She says military hospitals and doctors could help treat patients with the virus. Bundeswehr troops could also be asked to help repatriate German nationals who are stuck abroad. We're here in Berlin. There are plans to turn an exhibition center into a temporary hospital for coronavirus patients. It's not needed yet, but the Berlin Expo Center will soon house up to 1,000 beds as a precautionary measure. Here, too, soldiers will be deployed for the building conversion. Regular hospitals are also scaling up their intensive care capacity. This includes retraining medics from other fields to work in ICU units. The German Foreign Office has launched a major airlift operation to bring home German tourists stranded abroad due to the pandemic. It's estimated that about 100,000 Germans are waiting to be repatriated. Many of them were left with little option but to stay put when airlines began grounding flights.
Arriving home. On this plane landing in Berlin, tourists returning from Egypt. This was one of the last scheduled flights bringing passengers back to Germany. For many, it was a short vacation. Then came Corona and borders everywhere were closed. Holidaymakers feared they might be stranded.
There was chaos at the airport. Some people were not on the list. We too, but with some luck, we managed to get a ticket. We are relieved we could get a seat, of course.
About 100,000 Germans are being brought home from around the world. They're returning to a country in suspended animation. The empty airport is just the first sign that everyday life has changed. The taxi drivers here know all about it.
Corona destroys everything. What is happening? We never saw anything like this. The drivers are fighting amongst each other, fighting about getting a fare. That is not right. Some wait 4 or 5 hours without getting any business. If we taxi drivers don't work, we don't earn anything.
In Egypt alone, 30,000 Germans are waiting for their chance to fly home. The Berlin government is mobilizing 50 million euros to make these flights possible. But passengers will have to pay a fare equivalent to an economy class ticket.
Well, elsewhere in Europe, Spain and Italy have also recorded a sharp rise in the number of cases. Spain's death toll stands now at more than 760, with more than 17,000 new infections. Both countries have introduced strict measures to stop the spread of the virus. The French Parliament convened in a restricted format today to pass emergency laws, and there, too, was a stark reminder that no one is immune from getting sick.
A coughing fit left a lasting impression as France's parliament debated emergency coronavirus measures. While much of the discussion concerned masks, no one in the room wore one. This week's lockdown comes 2 months after the first cases of the virus appeared in France. The government is facing harsh criticism.
You also admitted that the former Minister of Health alerted you in January to the coming disaster. Why did you not inform us of this? Why, then, did you not implement the necessary measures?
France is on day 3 of an imposed lockdown, with citizens ordered to remain inside their homes. Empty streets in France, empty plazas in Spain. It's the second worst hit country in the EU. You can't see their uniforms under the hazmat suits, but these are soldiers brought in under the country's state of emergency. They're disinfecting transport hubs, places where people gather and the risk of transmission is higher. In London's famous tube system, also feared to be a virus hotspot, authorities are closing 40 stations. Britain is also setting up a series of temporary morgues around the country. They're being located in the worst affected areas as a precaution. It comes as people flock to supermarkets to stock up on supplies.
We think this is probably the last time that we'll actually be out.
And so we've got 2 shopping trolleys in order to get as much as possible to hunker down.
Because our problem was we'd been away for 2 months. And we came back yesterday to a completely empty cupboard. So we came Sainsbury's yesterday, couldn't even get milk or butter.
Yeah, people are panicking now, aren't they? If they didn't panic, we wouldn't have all this. You know, we'd be able to get what we wanted.
While there's no official lockdown in place, people are getting ready to lock themselves in.
I am back. Yes, I'm back. Look who's back. There's my girl. There's my birthday cake. No, my birthday cake doesn't look like that. Okay, so it's my birthday today, and I am 58 years old, and I am I'm looking for a party. So I'm really getting hungry. I don't know if you guys want to keep doing this for a whole bunch more. You want to see more coronavirus videos, or I have one about this not being just for the elderly, and they were showing I guess Daytona Beach yesterday, and there's like there's people playing on the beach. And I didn't hear myself Trump scolding people for being out, but apparently he did, according to Steven. But I do have a clip of lots of people playing on the beach. They're talking about the disease affecting people in their 30s and 40s, I guess. I don't know how young they're talking about. They're kind of, I guess there's going to be like a shame. I think this is what I see happening, okay, is that there's going to be this like shaming thing that starts going on for people that are out doing things when they should be at home, hiding in fear. Not that that's what I'm accusing you of doing. I think it's smart to take precautions. I think anyone would be, again, if you to get this thing and you're licking toilet seats, taking the COVID-19 challenge, right? And then you get it and you get really sick, I think you would feel so stupid. So I highly recommend not licking toilet seats. At least for the next couple months. I don't want you, I want you just to take intelligent precautions, but don't be overly fearful. That's my main message. Don't be overly stressed out. Because if you can manage not to be, you'll be healthier if you can be more relaxed. If you can be more relaxed, like I said, they've always said stress is the real killer, right? And in Japan, they have this thing, I forget, they have this this word, I can't remember what it is, but it means literally working yourself to death. And I guess it's like a common thing that people do in Japan. So, all I'm saying is, we'll get through this. We always do. Hello, caller.
Jesus Christ, Michael, this is Steve McClanahan. Who the fuck is this fucking call screener guy? I've been on the fucking line trying to tell him that this fucking Steve McClanahan, I got fucking breaking news, and he's got like 45 fucking questions, Michael. Fuck!
It's super bullshit, Tron. I think he's fucking with
Who
you.
the fuck is this guy? This fucking call screener? This is bullshit, Michael. You have a fucking call screener now?
Well, yeah.
Oh my god, that son of a bitch. I've been trying to fucking... this guy is ruthless. He's fucking trying to know fucking all the information, let alone my fucking credit card information. He needs to know my fucking goddamn social security number. He's got to run a fucking background check. What the fuck is up with this guy, Michael?
Well, he's very security oriented.
Shit. Okay, Michael. Holy fuck, Michael. I tell you what.
Yes.
So do you want the old news or you want the fucking breaking news?
Give me the news.
Because I was in China. I was in fucking China. Literally. I was in fucking China. And I swear to God, Michael, I was fucking scared. I was fucking scared as shit, Michael. Trying to fucking bring you guys goddamn exclusive fucking shit. The news stories that nobody's getting. Fucking boots on the ground in China. Fucking wearing gas masks and shit. Just fucking hunkered down in a little fucking room, just fucking not fucking talking, okay? Because these motherfuckers are out there just ready to steal your fucking goddamn toilet paper here in China, or over there in China as well, okay? So, Michael.
Yes, Steve.
They got my toilet paper. But
Fuckers.
you know what I did? I fucking called Super Bullshit Tron. I was like, Super Bullshit Tron, dude, listen. These sons of bitches over here in China, they just stole my fucking toilet paper. And I ain't having it. I ain't having it, dude. I need you here. He's like, you know what? The shit has hit the fucking fan. I'll be there. Super Bullshit Tron shows up. We just fucking start just kicking fucking ninjas, motherfucking asses with toilet paper just fucking flying around everywhere. Everybody's freaking out. We're kicking fucking ass. Me and Super Bullshit Tron, we're like, fuck this shit. You ain't taking our fucking toilet paper in China anymore. These motherfuckers, we totally fucking did ninja shit. We kicked their fucking ass. You know, we had a fucking... Guys, I can't even just get into all the details because we fucked some motherfuckers up. And we got the fuck out of there, Michael. We're currently hanging out with the quarantine in Panama Beach, Florida. Fucking living it up. We got toilet paper here. We got fucking Corona. We got fucking lime.
Nice.
We're spreading lime all over ourselves and fucking just drinking massive amounts of fucking Corona to just completely get rid of the fucking coronavirus.
Excellent.
We're here
That's
currently
awesome.
in fucking Panama Beach with all the fucking quarantines. The shit's fucking legit, Michael. There's wet.
Everyone's in
t-shirt
quarantine.
contest.
Everyone's in quarantine there.
I am literally giving autographs on
no bikinis
I'm
anywhere.
Like Steve McClanahan, Mox News, motherfucking prestigious journalists, all over your titty. Yeah, I've signed multiple tits today.
Awesome,
I'm telling you,
Steve.
they're huge fans down here. These fucking.
I know it's hard work. I know it's hard work, but you can do it. You can do it, Steve.
Jesus Christ, Michael. Fucking round of high fives. Hey, through the call screen, I heard it was your fucking birthday today. Is that true?
It's my birthday.
Oh, that's great. That's fucking great. Happy birthday, Michael. Happy birthday to you. All right, Michael, I gotta go.
Okay, Steve.
Because I'm fucking partying. And I'm partying for you, okay? I'm gonna do a huge fucking beer bong for you and all the goddamn Mox News listeners full of coronavirus. Plus line. All right, 10-4 over and out, Michael.
Okay, Steve. Thanks for calling.
Keeping a positive attitude.
Steve McClanahan in Florida, living the dream. That boy is such a serious journalist all the time. He never stops. And my girl looks unhappy. I gotta find out what's going on with my girl. Let's see. So so I want to play this other video, this not just the elderly video, because I think it's another one that should be seen, and this is the discussion really that's being had today. So I will play that for you now. Which one is that? Clip number 9. There you go.
For pretty much everyone in the United States, life is on hold because of this pandemic. You've probably heard, though, that a large majority of severe cases and deaths are in the elderly, really clustered among the very old. Does that mean the young people are safe? Well, a doctor from Massachusetts recently got in contact with us, disturbed by the evidence he was seeing in Boston. Dr. Michael Danino is an emergency and critical care physician from Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center in Boston. He's also a professor at Harvard Medical School. We're happy to have him on tonight. Doctor, thanks for coming on. So you are concerned, and I think this is right, you're concerned that people believe that this virus is not a threat to the young. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, I think the concern is, and it is true that that the majority of people between the ages of 20 and 60 who don't have any previous health condition will just have mild disease. That's a true statement.
Yes.
The issue is looking at the minority, and that within that minority, and this is not Boston. This is looking at this is looking at the world, looking at Italy, looking at China, looking at colleagues of mine from across the country. So this is not a Boston issue. This is just looking at the disease process. That minority, a number of them will have substantial critical illness and could potentially be on mechanical ventilation or what we term life support. So the key is understanding is that, you know, even if you're 20 to 60, you still can have critical illness. Now, the reason it's important to note that I don't raise this to cause panic. We don't want undue concern in that type of area, but it's important to know that because folks need to be able to take the appropriate actions and to follow all the instructions with the social distancing and and all those type of things. So I think it's just important information for people to know so they can act on it, but not again create unnecessary panic per se.
So we've seen a couple of cases where people in the prime of life, say 40 to 60, hale people with no underlying health conditions have wound up, really on death's door because of this. Do we know why it hits certain people that way?
We don't. I mean, we don't know, and that's actually an excellent question. Like, why certain people have mild disease and other people have, a severe disease or severe manifestation. And so these are some of the things that we're trying to to figure out. I mean, personally, I'm wondering what some of those elements are, as are my colleagues, across the country and across the world. But right at this moment, there's a lot that we really don't know.
That's for sure. And I hope as we learn more, as you learn more, that you'll come back on this show. Doctor, great to see you tonight. Thank you for that.
All right, I am back. Yes, I'm back. Look who's back. There's my girl down by the river. And I think we have a caller. Craig said we have a caller. So we'll see how that works. I think Craig's been trying to get him on the line all night. Hello.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, this is this is Brett. Brett, right? Brett?
Yeah.
How do you say your name? Say your name.
Yeah, Brett. I've been listening to
Brett
you for 15 years since you were C-SPAN junkie.
Yeah, so this is Brett from Minneapolis, and he's been around since the beginning of the YouTube days, and you haven't been seeing any of the live shows though, huh?
No.
Right on. Or that's too bad. So, this is your first show then?
I suppose it is. It was new. I didn't know that you were already doing live shows. I'm really impressed. You've come a long way.
I think, I honestly think a lot of people who are actually subscribers to Mox News think that I gave up doing YouTube a long time ago because YouTube sucked. The management of YouTube...
Censorship, right?
Yeah, the management of YouTube is just fucking with so many people. And I'm telling you, they're going to use. They are actually Brett. They are actually using this coronavirus to set up like on my video manager page. It says important notice: due to COVID-19, we will conduct fewer human reviews to protect the health of our extended workforce, because they can't do that from any computer in the fucking world. Unfortunately, as a result, we may have to remove content that does not violate community standards. So like, please understand, we're gonna fuck with you, and there's nothing you can do about it. That's what I read.
Unfortunately, what that means is that when someone reports you, they just take your video down, as opposed to checking to make sure if say someone reports a video for porn or violence or something, it doesn't actually have to have that. If they just report it 10 times, your videos come down until they get checked. And they do that to everything, to anybody who has an opinion or anyone who thinks, especially like you.
So Craig said that you've been studying the coronavirus thing. Is that right?
Well, yeah, I did a little bit of research in it. I just took some notes on my own, and it's very different from, a lot of the stuff they've been putting on TV and stuff. And I think the thing is that people fear the unknown. And when you don't know what it is, and you never heard of it before, it can be really scary, But the coronavirus is not something that's new. It's 10,000 years old. Mm-hmm. And we've had coronavirus before, we've had outbreaks before, many, and it's just that they changed the names to trick people, like swine flu. So if people didn't know that swine flu was the Spanish flu from 1918, or as very few people know, it was the same swine flu that we had in 1976, and we had it in 2009, and the same thing happened each time, but it seems that people forgot that what had happened the first time. And well, anyway, so some of the research that I put together, and you have to excuse me if my phone breaks up because of the internet wipe, but coronavirus, supposedly, I don't believe nothing past 100 years old, but supposedly the science says that the coronavirus existed since 8000 BC. It wasn't discovered till like 1950, when they discovered that the coronavirus was causing the common cold. And it was the bat flu and the cow flu that was causing the common cold. It's like one of the causes of the common cold. Coronavirus is very, very common.
Right. I've heard that it's the common cold also, but then also I heard that the common cold is the rhinovirus
too. Usually it is, but I think like 30% of the time it's a coronavirus. It doesn't have a cure. There's no vaccine. Nobody knows how to cure it. Everybody gets it. So if you've had a common cold in your life, odds are you've got a coronavirus or had one. They've, like I said, they've been around for 10,000 years.
Yeah. That
was in 1950 when the scientists discovered it and isolated it, which is, I think, part of the problem that you don't sit around and play with nuclear weapons or nuclear energy or bioweapons and stuff like that. That's when the problems come. Those type of things should be burned or disintegrated, But they've been playing with them. That's what's going on. But in 2002, so right now they're calling it COVID or whatever, and nobody's calling it bat flu because I think they don't want you to follow back to the history of bat flu, you know. But now they are calling it SARS-2. It's now been retitled, and I know they keep saying COVID on the news and coronavirus on the news, but coronavirus is super general. That's like just like saying a virus, you know? But the SARS, we had an outbreak in 2002, 2003. It was a bat flu, but it was known commonly as SARS, S-A-R-S, severe respiratory syndrome or something like that. But that was the bat flu from 2004. There was another bat flu in 2002, 2003. There was another one in 2004, which was NL63. It's a coronavirus bat flu. In 2005, they had the mouse flu. In 2012, they had MERS. That was the camel flu. In 2012, 15, and 2018, there was MERS outbreaks where a bunch of people died. You know, the same thing that swine flu happened. But this is also SARS-2, the bat flu. But there's many other coronaviruses. They said they isolated, in Wuhan, where it came from. Their scientists said that they isolated 300 different versions of this coronavirus from their bats, from their horseshoe bats there. And so basically they're saying that the bat community is just completely contaminated with it. So they're taking the bats and taking the viruses and isolating them and keeping them and playing with them like they're a dollhouse full of dolls, you know, where they, like I said, they should be burning them. But so far, other than the ones I've just named, there was dog flu, cat flu, bird bronchitis, rabbit flu, pig flu, cow flu, turkey flu, ferret flu, rat flu. Those are all coronavirus.
Now you're saying that this one was released from a laboratory? Is that what you're saying?
Well, no one's going to actually say that, and obviously the Chinese are denying it. But
the Chinese, I understand, are accusing the Pentagon of releasing this.
Yes. Well, that's right away what happened, obviously. You know, remember when Chernobyl went down, they were like, oh, it's not our fault. There is no problem. The government never makes a problem, you know.
Yeah.
That's what the Chinese were doing, but they did. They blamed it on America. Or, I'm sure you know the difference between these terms, but it was blamed on America, but it was also blamed on Western countries, which usually is America and Israel, and probably anyone who's not China, or, you know, they get the negative propaganda, the same propaganda we get about the West and the East. They get the opposite. And I learned that when I lived in a country that was Soviet controlled for a while, that they taught them that Russia won World War II. And, you know, obviously we had the, you know, anti-Soviet propaganda, you know, hide under your desk and they're going to nuke us and all this stuff. Well, they had the opposite of our propaganda, and they're doing it again too. The Chinese, they're communists, and they just say whatever they want to say. There's no rules, so they can lie to people, and everyone pretty much knows they're lying. I think. But this is what's been said.
What I've been saying, Brett, the last few days, is that if America is accusing this of being a Chinese thing, and China is accusing America of this being a Pentagon thing, then what I hear is that this is some kind of a man-made thing, and it's been released on people, on the world.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying, my priority is that it's obvious at this moment in history that anyone, anywhere, creating something like this is a threat to all humanity, and that the people not only that are working on it and creating it and designing it, but also the people funding it, they're all a threat to the entire human race, and they should all be immediately sent to prison for the rest of their lives in order to make examples of anyone who might come behind them.
I agree.
You know,
or hang them on pay-per-view television or something. You know, but like I said, this is not something that I'm saying. Obviously, I wouldn't just come up with this crazy idea that it's from a laboratory.
We've been talking about this for days. I want to let you know we've been talking about this for days, and I keep pointing out that the U.S. is saying China did this, and the China is saying the Americans did this. So to me, what I'm hearing is this was a lab created thing, and that's really the most important part of this, and that we all need to recognize going forward that there should absolutely not be this going on anywhere in the world, regardless of what fucking flag it's under.
Yeah, I was going to say, additionally, there's at least another 25 countries who are blaming it on somebody else, too. It's not just the Chinese and the Americans. There's every country's got someone that they're blaming, but the facts are that this came out in China, in Wuhan, in not even in 2020. That's why they call it COVID-19. It was from December, okay? So in January of this year, there was an article posted on the Washington Times that says virus hit Wuhan, has 2 laboratories linked to Chinese biowarfare program. And it's on Washington Times. It's been there since January. Anyone could read this, and anyone now who's getting news, especially reporters who should be verifying their stories, have access to this information. It's all over the place.
Washington Times is kind of a rag, though. You know.
I agree too, but like I said, they're respected. It's respected. I said the same thing about your shows, that it's interesting that you're posting news from television from politicians who we know are lying. Yet somehow with that one-line headline that you put on the video, we kind of know what to take out of the video, right? That you're actually posting something that we know the news is full of shit, yet somehow it's relevant too.
Well,
you need to know what the opposition's doing and what the propaganda's coming out.
There's just so much information that's right there in front of you, besides the fact that obviously these people couldn't be more full of shit or have your worst interest at heart.
Yeah. Well, here, I'm going to read you a couple excerpts from some of these articles that I was reading. I basically just took some notes on I did my own research. I just flipped them from page to page on my own, through the internet and checking different stuff out. But here's some clips from some of the articles that I was reading. This one's from the New York Post. It says, don't buy China's story. The coronavirus may have leaked from a lab. This is from actually February of this year. And it said, the People's Liberation Army top expert biological warfare, Major General Chen Wei, has been researching coronaviruses since the SARS outbreak of 2003, as well as Ebola and anthrax. And that they were working on, in January and December when this began, they had instructions on strengthening biosecurity management in microbiology labs that handle advanced viruses like the novel coronavirus. And that's direct, that's what they were trying to do. So obviously they have a problem with leaks, right? But the thing is that this is leaked. They've leaked SARS from China biological weapons factories twice before. This is the 3rd time. The last 2 times they cleaned it up real quick and no one ever really heard of it. Like we heard of the swine flu and other stuff like that. But this is right off of their. You see, I was trying to figure out where it came from, and we know that Lyme disease is named after Lyme, Connecticut, and right up the stream we have the Plum Island biological weapons factory where they were working on diseases in ticks specifically. So there's no one's actually ever said that the Lyme disease, except for maybe Jesse Ventura, that the Lyme disease actually came from Plum Island, but they were working on it there. It's not even an hour away, and it's pretty much the logical conclusion, But like I said, no one's actually admitted this. Jesse Ventura did a whole show on the Plum Island, but I was trying to find out what was their Plum Island over there. Well, it's the Wuhan Institute of Virology. That's where they have all the viruses. And if you look at the pictures of a level 4 biological facility, they're sick. They look like they're working with nuclear, weapons. They've got these blown up suits, and they're, getting sprayed down every time they walk in and walk out.
Yeah.
But
and I really want to be clear about this. It doesn't matter where this shit came from, okay? All that really matters at this point is that anyone creating stuff like this must immediately go to prison forever. Because we can't have this in our world.
It's the same as the Nazi gas and the World War I gas.
It's not the same as the Nazi gas. The Nazi gas was limited to certain range. It didn't go all around the world and blah, blah, blah.
Sure. Still, they probably shouldn't have been making that stuff. They hurt their own people,
Yeah, well, fucking Americans made gas and gave it to the fucking Iranians. I mean, the Iraqis, and then the Iraqis used it to kill a million innocent Iranians.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
yeah, it's bad news all around. It needs to be shut down. Here's another excerpt. This is just from the basic Wikipedia page of the Wuhan Institute of Virology. I was just kind of checking up to see, like, what were they doing there? Is it possible that a bat flu came out of there, you know? It says this is 2005, so 15 years ago. In 2005, a group, including researchers from the Wuhan Institute of Virology, published research into the origin of SARS coronavirus, finding that China's horseshoe bats are natural reservoirs of SARS-like coronaviruses. Oh, my computer just fell asleep there. In continuing this work over a period of years, researchers from the Institute sampled thousands of horseshoe bats in locations across China, isolating over 300 bat coronavirus sequences. That was 15 years ago. Now, this is 5 years ago. In 2015, the Institute published successful research on whether a bat coronavirus could be made to infect HeLa. It's a immortal strain of cancer cells that they always test stuff on, chemicals, weapons, drugs, lipstick, whatever. It says the team from the Institute engineered a hybrid virus combining bat coronavirus with a SARS virus that has been adapted to grow in mice and mimic human disease. The hybrid virus was able to infect human cells. So they literally made a bat coronavirus out of SARS that can infect humans 5 years ago. And they've had it there. And what's been going on is the lab workers have been selling their animals. They have one of their workers is in prison right now. Apparently sold like $1 million worth of live monkeys to the markets there. And probably not to the market that we're thinking, because that was a seafood market, but to other places.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard that same thing, that the lab was selling animals.
Yeah, the engineer, or like the people who work there, were stealing the animals and selling them. And I'm also finding other articles, like from the sources, that this one says the SARS-like cluster of circulating bat coronaviruses shows potential for human emergence. That's dated to 2015. Here's another one that says engineered bat virus stirs debate over risky research. The same exact thing you were talking about. And then the byline says lab-made coronavirus related to SARS can infect human cells.
And when was that published?
This was published on November 12, 2015.
Wow.
Scientific magazine.
Yeah, we saw, Craig had a video last night about, it was Bill Gates talking, and he was saying, you know, the nuclear weapon, it was like 2015 or 2016, and he was saying the nuclear weapon of the 21st century is a virus. You know, and he wasn't talking about a computer virus, so we're clear.
What a loser, huh?
Yeah, well, he's that guy. If there was ever a Dr. Evil, he's my top choice for that guy to be it.
Yeah. Now I do got one really other interesting a bit of knowledge I'd like to share, and I know a lot of people in the vaccine communities and health communities, alternative health, whatever groups. And most people don't know about the swine flu. We just had swine flu in 2009, so 11 years ago. Yeah. I actually got it. I puked for a day, and it was over. But it was a pretty big scare, just like this one, except it just didn't go crazy like this, okay? But now, you're a little bit older than me. You probably would have been just barely driving a car at the time, but do you remember the swine flu outbreak of 1976?
No. I do not.
Okay, so here's what happened. Okay, in 2009.
No, I didn't start driving a car until 78. I turned 16 in 1978.
Okay, and I would have been 2 at the time. Okay, so basically, here's what happened. Now, keep in mind, in 2009, they said swine flu is going to kill everybody, and everybody was afraid because this was new. Because I don't remember when it happened when I was 2 years old. Nobody told me. You know, I had to research it myself to figure out what the history was of it, so that We didn't have to be afraid of it. And so basically, in 2009, Obama bought something like, I don't know, $300 million worth of vaccines. He sold 30% of them. The next year, they dumped those basically living swine flu virus into the seasonal flu vaccines. And that's when the outbreak continued, because they were getting it from the shots. But that same exact thing happened in 1976, and they always say those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it.
Yeah.
In 1976, there was a swine flu outbreak. H1N1, same exact thing as the 1918 Spanish flu, and literally exactly the same thing. They dug up a woman, an elderly woman who was frozen with 1918 swine flu, and some army guys were dug up, frozen, and they extracted the swine flu virus from them. And that's literally, that's how it got there, right? Because if it was here, we already would have had the cold, and you already would have got it last year and the year before. This is new. It just appeared on the market,
Yeah.
That's why everyone's getting it. So in 1976, what they did is they went in the government and the Congress, and they voted to give everyone mandatory vaccines for swine flu. At the time, there was a possibility, you know how they're talking about misdiagnosis? There was a possibility that one person had died from the swine flu in 1976.
Wow.
They threw a fit over it. Okay, now keep in mind, only one person died. But they said he died. You don't know. He might not have had swine flu, and he might have died from another complication. But just to say, they said one person died, right? They threw a fit. Congress voted. Okay, only 2 congressmen voted against mandatory swine flu shots based on principle that the government's not authorized to deal with our health. That simple. It's not in the Constitution, so they don't have that. If they could have maybe done it on the state level or on lower levels, but they absolutely couldn't do that at the federal level. So they just basically opposed it just on the principle that it was unconstitutional, that they were spending our money, and that they were taking away our freedom. Okay, the 2 guys who voted against mandatory swine flu shots in 1976 was Dr. Ron Paul, he was a freshman congressman, and Dr. Larry Patton McDonald. If you don't know who Larry Patton McDonald is, he's a nephew of General Patton, and he was the president of the John Birch Society at the time, and that's where Ron Paul got most of his policy from, was from Larry McDonald, who was assassinated on a jet. They told him he was going to Russia, and they shot his jet down. They killed him.
Wow.
But that was a long time ago, and he used to argue with the guys on the news, and they smeared him and stuff like that. But he's a doctor. He voted against the swine flu shots, okay? Well, then they started doing the swine flu shots, and they had all these people had to go in and get your swine flu shot. Everyone in the whole country. It was mandatory. And so they started going in and getting the shots. After 2 weeks, 25 people dropped dead immediately after getting the shot.
Yeah.
So they canceled the program, okay? After they canceled the program, 5,000 people got what's called Guillain-Barré syndrome, meaning that they were crippled. They were in wheelchairs, on crutches, they couldn't walk, their legs couldn't move and stuff. The Guillain-Barré syndrome. 300 of those 5,000 people died too. So 325 people died from the shots. And then the government's supposed to pay their families for, killing them. They're still today suing the government for their family who died in 1976.
And this is the thing that I hate about the petty tyrants who are supposed to be representing us in the government, is that they can't wait to take away your freedom. That's why Ron Paul always stood out. They can't wait to say. I was waiting
for him to say something. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're going to try to take your freedom, and you're not going to get your freedom back, just like the TSA that's been shut down after 2 years, after 20 years, after they haven't found a single terrorist, and hundreds of their employees have been fired for stealing crime.
Yeah.
And they're still there. They're still pissing our money away and taking our freedom away, and it's 20 years later, and we find out that 9/11 was a big lie too, Iraq was a big lie, Afghanistan was a big lie, but you don't get your freedom back.
Yeah.
And that's what Ron Paul said, just watch it, because when, I was more concerned that they were going to try to sell vaccines like they did last time, like try to profit from it and then end up killing people. with their shoddy products.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen that happening yet. What I see, like Ron Paul said, is people are losing their freedom, and the government is taking authority. What it sounds crazy, but Donald Trump shutting down America and these other countries shutting down, like Italy and stuff. This is what Mussolini did. This is what Hitler did. This is what Stalin did to tell people how to run their businesses. That is so un-American. It's insane. They don't have the authority to tell you how to run your businesses. Your state might, and then your city probably does, but the federal government has no authority to do that. That's why we don't like socialism and fascism, because the government's not supposed to tell you how to run your business. It's the same thing with the smoking ban. You know, it should be the business owner who decides whether he wants smoking available in his restaurant or not. That's the decision he profits from or loses. You know, when you make a business decision. But when you got the president telling you how to run your business, then it's really a horrible thing. It was always ended bad historically for every country that ever did that. And China's still doing that, you know.
Yeah, again, and that's that's my whole point. I mean, they hate our freedom. They cannot wait to take away our freedom. I mean, the whole state of California has been told to hide in their homes, as if there's an active shooter in every fucking neighborhood in California. You know,
we're really, I mean, we're just really super close to martial law. The last time something like this happened would be probably the Japanese in World War II were being quarantined. But I've never seen anything like this in my life that, you know, you almost go back to them teaching kids to hide under their desks from the Russians and stuff like that. But I've never seen anything like this before. They really just took a lot of power that they didn't have, and kind of, they should have been told, hey, you don't have the authority to do that. If Trump wanted to do something, he could have persuaded states to make their own constitutional laws instead of making an unconstitutional law where supposedly he's going to give us money, but the government doesn't have any money. They just have our money. So whatever money they give us, your kids are going to have to pay back eventually, you know.
Yeah, I hate them, you know. I hate the government, and I look at them as pure evil. Especially this government is pure fucking evil. And when I say this government, I am not talking about Trump. You know, I'm talking about, you know.
But he's the new guy, right?
Yeah, he's say hello to the new boss, same as the old boss. You know, the who put it best.
The other guy's been doing it for 40 years, some of them. You know, Ron Paul was in there for 40 years. He didn't get a lot done, but he really caused a lot of waves. And I really want to thank you, because you definitely introduced me to Ron Paul, Dennis Kucinich, and people like that, where, you know, I'd watch what they're saying, and I'm like, wait a second. Why is this politician so different from all the other ones? And you'd be posting these 1 minute or 2 minute speeches because they'd only let them up there for like a minute, you know. But that was really the highlight of my day back then, because I was so confused. Politics is so confusing, and it's really hard to know who's the good guy, who's the bad guy, who's misleading you, who's the disinformation.
Yeah.
And once I learned about Ron Paul and his policy and stuff, it's so logical and it's so simple. And it's, I think it's really just a beautiful thing, you know.
Yeah.
Dennis Kucinich, not so bad. He had a little bit of weird.
Kucinich, you know, Kucinich had issues with the Second Amendment, and you know, people used to say, "Oh, Kucinich for president." He would have been a great president, but I told people over and over again, he's not. He can't be elected because of the Second Amendment thing. People won't vote for that. He was a big, but he had you know, he had like members. His family got robbed when he was very young at gunpoint, and I think like someone died. And it was, you know, it just left him with this thing that this is, we have to do whatever we can to not let this happen to other people.
Well, I think I got the video from you where he walked out, and I'm thinking it was the bailouts. He walked out and he said, "Is this the United States Congress, or is this the board of directors of Goldman and Sachs?" He just let him have it. And I'm almost certain that I never would have saw that clip if it wasn't for you quickly recording this 2 minute bit and then posting it, you know. So I'm extremely grateful to that help
Yeah, well, you know, I
whatever
understand.
You want to call it, you know.
Oh yeah, no, I understand.
It's a one-liner.
Yeah,
a one-line headline on it, and somehow I'm just massively growing and learning so much faster, and it really advanced my knowledge of politics to a whole nother level. You know, it sounds funny, but a 1 minute clip off of TV really helped me out. You know.
Yeah, you know, I always used to put pot brownies in the taglines back in the day, and people used to get so mad. Why did it say pot brownies in the tags of this video? And you know, it's just like Dennis Kucinich or Ron Paul or whoever, you know. And I'd be like, it's just a suggestion.
Find it.
You'll be much better off. You'll understand and enjoy this video much more if you have pot brownies before you watch it.
Well, I just go for everything.
Well, it's really good to hear from you, Brett, and I hope that you will become a regular participant in the show.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely watch it anytime I get a chance. I wish I had a million hours. I'd watched all your footage. You know, it's, like I said, you never miss nothing. You never miss a damn thing.
Yeah.
Whenever something happened, you had a clip of it, even if it was 1 minute, and then they spend the whole rest of the cat or some dog, and you got the 1 minute clip where they were like, by the way, just in case you guys forgot, right now we're spending your money.
Yeah.
Back to the cat in the dog trick.
You're breaking up pretty good, Brett. So again, I'm really glad that we heard from you, and I hope that we get a chance to talk again soon. Okay?
That would be awesome. I'd love it if you guys had more. I'm sure you got to cover every topic that I do, so it would be really cool to talk again.
I'm here to talk about whatever needs to be talked about. So, and we're glad to have.
You've been doing a damn good job.
And we're glad to have you on board. So. I hope we talk again soon, okay?
Hero to me.
Thank you very much, Brett. Thank you very much. It's very kind of you. And thanks for all your help in the past. You've helped a lot. You always were a big help to have around. So I really appreciate you too.
Yep.
Okay, I got to go.
All right, have a good night.
Okay, talk to you soon. Bye. And that is our buddy Brett, our longtime viewer Brett, who just saw our first live show, his first live show. Hopefully he will become a regular on the show, because he really have his finger on the pulse of what's going on, and he will have a lot to add in the future, I'm sure. Now I'm going to play CDC investigation about the coronavirus. Here we go.
And we're going to begin with this. A CDC investigation revealing new information about the explosive coronavirus outbreak at several Washington state nursing homes. The probe says it was fueled by missteps, including 6 staff members. 35 fatalities are linked to the Life Care Center in Kirkland. That is the hardest hit facility. And our Jonathan Vigliotti shows us what investigators have found.
Among the key findings, some of Life Care's staff worked while sick and in some cases worked a second shift in other facilities, raising concern that the virus was spread from one nursing home to another. Already in King County, at least 10 nursing homes are reporting cases of the coronavirus.
A newly released CDC report is shedding light on how the coronavirus spread at the Life Care Center in Kirkland, Washington, and other area nursing facilities. The agency says of the roughly 130 residents at Life Care, 62% became infected and 27% have died. We first met Carmen Gray earlier this month.
They're being held hostage in a Petri dish.
Her mother, Susan Haley, is one of the Life Care residents who tested positive.
I'm in shock. This report it's despicable.
According to the report, in mid-February, several residents developed respiratory illnesses but tested negative for influenza. It wasn't until roughly 2 weeks later, February 28th, that health officials confirmed the first case of coronavirus. Timothy Killian is a spokesman for the Life Care Center.
Had we gotten those tests earlier,
all of this might have played out differently.
But the CDC says several other factors at the nursing homes also contributed to the spread, including staff members who worked while symptomatic and worked in more than one facility, inadequate supplies including personal protective equipment and hand sanitizer, and limited testing.
Both my sister and I had concerns about the lack of use of hand sanitizer and only having masks on and wearing the same mask in and out of one room to another.
Are there things within the report that are troubling to all of us? Of course. There was questions about proper infection control. This disease, this virus, requires measures different than anything else we'd dealt with before.
At least 34 Life Care Center employees and 14 visitors also contracted the virus.
I hope that they find this as an example of what not to do. If you listen to the doctors, they're saying that it's going to get much worse before it gets better.
And the CDC report doesn't mention their own shortcoming with delayed testing, nor does it mention the initial response by Washington state health officials, who just 4 days into the outbreak said their resources were stretched thin.
Jonathan, thank you. And our Dr. Tara Narula is back with more on this. We heard one of the relatives say that their family members were held hostage in a petri dish. It's a terrible situation. What are the lessons here?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is the perfect storm. These are people that are in very close contact. The median age is 81. We know the death rate goes up if you're over 80. And a lot of them have these chronic medical conditions like hypertension, cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, diabetes. So it's a tough situation, and it really tells us we need to be proactive. And I know we are taking those steps now.
We've seen family members who can't visit their loved ones in nursing homes. It's very painful for them, but it's important for them to stay away.
It is. We know that most of these cases happen from either a visitor or a staff member bringing the infection in there. So it is hard to stay away. It's very difficult, but it's very important.
Yeah, I'm still stuck by that petri dish reference. Yeah. It's like they were sitting ducks in some way. Can you be exposed to it, Tara, and not get it?
Well, you can be exposed to it and not mount a reaction that somebody can pick up on. So it could be either asymptomatic or mildly symptomatic. So a lot of this is about active screening for fever or respiratory symptoms in staff and patients so that you can act quickly.
And is it important to point out that most people, depending on your age, it's very survivable?
It is.
People need to understand you can survive this.
You can.
Most people do.
Most people do. But again, those vulnerable populations, the elderly, those with chronic medical conditions, are more at risk of having severe complications.
All right, Tara, thank you very much.
All right. So again, it's my birthday today. Thanks very much for tuning in and sharing that with me. That's very nice of you. And I have a couple more clips, but I am pretty much done here. I want to go get some food and do some other things. So we're doing this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. and it's very cool. And I think we're going to be building the audience next week. I have a plan to harvest all the emails off the C-SPAN Junkie, C-SPAN Junkie email, C-SPAN Junkie Gmail, and because there's a lot of them in there, and 15 years of them in there, and so I think that we should be able to drive up the audience a little bit in the next week or so. So again, if anything happens with the YouTube, with this stupid, because we're short-handed, we can't review videos bullshit, I will post a video on the moxnews.com. moxnews.com. And if anybody wants to give me a little birthday treat at the moxnews.com, you can do that also, or there's clickable links in the text body of this video, or you can go to these links that I'm putting in the chat. So just in case anything happens where with YouTube, setting up this preliminary kind of bullshit saying, that we're not able to review videos, so some videos may be reviewed that really shouldn't be reviewed. If they do something like that and you have trouble finding Mox News, you can go to Mox, if it looks like they took Mox News down or something, you can go to moxnews.com and you will certainly be updated there. Okay? So, thanks very much. It's my birthday. Thanks very much for tuning in. Let's see if I can do this one more time. Ah! I'm going to go party for a little bit. Or I'm going to go hang out with my babies. My beautiful babies. You're my beautiful baby, Boo Bear. He's like, why are you screaming? I'm gonna go hang out with my beautiful babies and I'm gonna frost my lemon cake, and I'm gonna have a big chunk of cake, and I'm gonna live like kings. All right. So and thanks to all of you for all your help over the years, because without you, I never would have been able to do this. Without Craig, I never would have been able to do this. So, thanks to everybody for, helping make this happen. Because what it is that we have done here has been of value to all mankind. And we shook the motherfucking pillars of heaven. I guarantee you that. Until then, please remember, you're not eating enough marijuana.
Sometimes life can be a little overwhelming. Sometimes the weight of the world can be too much to bear. Sometimes you need to stop worrying and take a deep breath. Sometimes you need cannabis. Introducing Brightside, high-quality cannabis delivered right to your door. Brightside offers an extensive menu of strains and products to meet your needs. Choose the experience you want, and we'll send you the dankest herb, the real sticky icky, some top-shelf marijuana. If you like what we send you, keep the whole jar. We'll even include some nugs for you to blaze. As part of Discovery, you'll get to try new strains and products. Side effects may include euphoria, increased appetite, uncontrollable giggles, elevated sensitivity to musical dopeness, and reduced anxiety. Tetrahydrocannabinol may also induce feelings of existential well-being and relentless optimism. With a Brightside subscription, you can get it once a month, once a week, or whenever you want, all at a price you'll like. And yes, this is a real company.
Do you know who I am?
You're the wizard.
Ask your doctor if cannabis is right for you. It probably is. Keep it Brightside.
Wait, what, Wilco? What are you saying? Are you saying you can't? What do you mean? I can't listen to Mox News and give him a birthday dab? Did you do that? I am gonna go now. We are not done yet, or not? I don't know. You said something. You said something about Mox, but I can't listen to Mox News and give him a bong birthday dab. I don't know what you're saying. I don't mean to quit too early. I can hang out for another minute. It's my birthday. I will do a dab for Wilco right now because he always deserves to have a dab done for him. Let me get one ready, Wilco. I will do, and I should have done one more birthday dab with you guys before I go anyways, because, that would have been the nice thing to do, the hospitable thing to do. I'm smoking a little bit less. I'm eating a lot more marijuana at the moment. I wouldn't say a lot more, maybe like twice as much as usual. So I just don't even think about smoking nearly as much, you know. But we should have done one more birthday dab before I go.
Mike, I got a funny video.
Anyway.
It's not copyrighted that you guys got to see before we go for some humor for the coronavirus. It's humor. It's funny, trust me.
We can't do it tomorrow.
No, you gotta do it tonight. It's funny.
I don't like to do stuff I don't know what it is, Craig.
It's an avalanche. It's funny as hell. I'll get it tomorrow if you really are worried about it.
Okay. Because they're acting fucking crazy, man. Alright. Oh, that's a good one. Oh, I got a good one there for Wilco. And oh, isn't that pretty? Look at it sparkle in the light. It's so lovely. That's a nice birthday dab to end on, right? Right? I like that one. Okay, I gotta make sure I'm ready for it. I'm preparing here. Gotta stretch. You don't want to take something that big without stretching first, people. Gotta make sure you're ready. There we go. Almost got it. Okay. Okay. All right, Wilco. I'm gonna get ready. Gotta get ready for that one. Okay. Let's heat this baby up. And thanks so much for tuning in, everybody. We do this every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time. It's a call-in show. We love talking with you. I'm happy to debate anyone on any subject, and that's not a challenge. It's just as if you hear me saying something that you disagree with, you're more than welcome to bring your alternative facts. We are not, we're not open to other people's input here, and that's the way Mox News has always been, and it's really what's always made Mox News great is the input from the viewers. So that's a big part of why we switched over to the call-in show, is because YouTube has censored so many comments now, and since the comments are, again, the viewers, the commentors are what I've always said really gives Mox News a value. And YouTube censoring 50% of the comments, this is why I thought, okay, this is one way for us to sidestep this YouTube censorship. So now we come out here every night, Monday through Friday. If there's something important going on, we'll do a Saturday, we'll do a Sunday. I don't care if we have to do 7 days a week if there's something important going on. But right now, I am not going to do 7 days a week at coronavirus. Right now, I'm not. If it somehow becomes something that needs to be discussed on a daily basis, I will come out. And this is the thing, is I mean, it's just all day, every day now, and I hate to add to it, because I see what the media does. This is what the media has always done. It's just the terrorist, fear. And I don't want you, and that stress, that worry, that concern, that over the top, we're all gonna die. That has so much more negative effects than just this momentary fear thing. And I just don't want you all to be Come on, baby. Oh, Craig, come on, dude. Craig, I'm trying to take a dab, and you're messing with it. I just want to get this. You can play. Look, you can do whatever you want, but let me do what I'm trying to do. Okay? You want to play whatever, go ahead. But let me do what I'm trying to get done. Again, I don't want you guys to be afraid. I don't want you to be extra stressed. I don't want you to, and I see it everywhere, including myself, I do. I see it in myself. I'm picking up on it everywhere. Everywhere I go, I feel it and I sense it, and it's, I can't stand it. I really, really can't stand it. So eat more marijuana if you can, and just know that we always get through this shit, man. We always get through it. And no matter what it is, and I know this appears different, but like Brett was saying, it may not be different. It may just be there's things going on that, we haven't seen before. People trying their best to take advantage of it. Okay, Wilco, thanks so much, bro. Okay, let's see. Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing tonight?
I am good. How are you, Chris?
I'm all right. I've been busy helping a friend clean up their property the last day or two, and I just left a bonfire to come back to my home and listen to this live stream so I could wish you a happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Right on. Where's the bonfire at?
The bonfire is outside of this house in Northeast Olympia. The person who rents the house actually is the person who took Dennis Kucinich around Olympia 3 weeks ago and entertained him while he spoke at our theater. He's an activist. But it's a bonfire behind a house, and it's a lot of brush that's just been accumulating around their property. So we went today with a chainsaw and cleaned it up, and now there's a little fire and people drinking beer and talking about coronavirus, probably.
Right on. It was a beautiful day, that's for sure.
And it was a really clear night, too. I looked up at the stars this evening, and they were extremely clear. Normally I don't get a chance to see them, but it was really beautiful. So it was a good night all around. How was your birthday? Did you have a good day?
I honestly, I didn't sleep well last night, and then I had a really hard time getting any sleep. So it was a beautiful day. I went for a nice long walk. I had plenty of marijuana. I made a lemon cake. I'm good.
Yeah. I started absorbing the news this morning, and I hadn't really paid any attention to it in the last 6 hours, which is extremely out of character for me. But there were a few things I noticed this morning, including this article from Asia Times that says Iran is now flagging 50 new cases of coronavirus every hour.
Huh.
And some Gulf states are sending aid to their neighbor as the U.S. kicks in. An article, this was posted this morning or this afternoon at Asia Times, and it's just talking about different countries in the Persian Gulf, United Arab Emirates and Kuwait and Bahrain, and how they're sending aid to Iran, and how some countries in the area are hedging on sending aid, like Saudi Arabia sure as hell is not sending aid to Iran, but just about how a lot of people are infected in Iran. Like the article title says, 15 new coronavirus cases every hour in Iran. So 50 times 24, that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. I listened to a little bit of Brett's call. I didn't listen to the entire call, so I really can't comment about where the virus came from, how it originated. But I tend to agree with you that, like I said several days ago, if an investigative journalist can definitively prove that the virus is from a certain lab, I think that government should be held accountable. You know, we have International Criminal Court, and we have courts around the world. The UN has protocol about what you do in these situations, and those people should be held accountable. And I would imagine if anybody really gave a shit about this, that either they're Democrats or Republicans, they would step forward right now and demand that the United States stop its bioweapons program, period. That, we investigate labs in the United States that are working on developing viruses, and stop that practice.
Yeah, I want to know why there's no talk like that going on in Congress. That seems like should be going on immediately. And the UN, and go ahead.
I think MSM really is pushing the bat stew story, or that there were animals sold in the market. I think that benefits people, because when you say it was either accidentally released or there were animals sold in the market, for example, because it had before, which means it necessarily must be true, which isn't true, by the way. But there's lots of subterfuge that's in the media right now. I would imagine that it was intentional and it was a bioweapon, for whatever reason. Seems that way. If they're developing these weapons, why aren't they using these weapons? Of course they would use these weapons. And who was impacted the most for the first 8 weeks? It was the Chinese economy that was shut down.
Yeah.
Which happens to be America's competitor, because everything's a fucking contest, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to beat up the Russian and fucking smash the Soviets,
right?
Be bigger than the Chinese, because fucking Uncle Sam has some big fucking honies, bro. Therefore, fuck everyone else. We're the best. That attitude is really prevalent in people's thinking. Instead of looking in the attitude of I'm a free American with a shitload of money to do whatever the fuck I goddamn please because it's my natural right. Well, hey, reality check, bro. You're 1 out of 20 people in the fucking world. Period. There are other people on planet Earth. And we need to interact with those people. And the U.S. government hasn't helped the Chinese, hasn't helped the Iranians, hasn't helped any other country that's been affected by this crisis, only focusing on itself, which other people in the international community acknowledge, Mike. In other words, other countries in the world understand that Donald the Hump Trump and fucking Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer are literally killing children in Iran because they're denying them access to markets so they can buy medicine. American citizens, Donald fucking Trump and Nancy Pelosi, are murdering Iranian people today as we speak. Mm-hmm. And nobody says shit about it on CNN or Fox News. Tucker's not fucking talking about that. Or MSNBC. Morning Joe, he's not talking about that because both Tucker and Morning Joe and the Republicans and the Democrats and Trump are on board with American imperialism, and they don't speak out about it ever. It's a taboo subject, actually.
Yeah, of course they're on board with American imperialism. American imperialism is what gives them everything that they have.
Yeah, being able to dominate people in other parts of the world, steal their shit, and force them to use American banks. I mean, that seems to be the rule. And Democrats and Republicans have done that. I'm just saying, I do agree with the previous caller. Like I said, I only listened to like a few moments of his presentation, but I do agree that this probably emanated from a bioweapons lab. And I agree with you, Mike, that those people should be held accountable and that the American public should be suspicious. Nevertheless, I don't think it's being I mean, the media wants to sell newspapers. The television stations want to sell advertising. So, and they're drawn to the crises of the day. That's just the nature of what they do. Nevertheless, I don't think this is just a trivial matter, like this virus that's spreading around the world. And when I looked at RT this morning, RT, Russia Today, one of the lead photographs on their website was, a caravan of military transport vehicles leaving a cemetery filled with bodies because their healthcare system is not able to deal with the amount of people who are dying in Italy.
That was a RT story?
Yeah, RT story. The photograph is pictures of military transport in the early morning hours leaving a place where there's like a crematorium because they can't deal with the bodies in fucking Italy, in the industrialized part of northern Italy. I've read stories already about Louisiana's healthcare system being overwhelmed. The governor of Louisiana appealing to the president because their hospitals are already overwhelmed and they only have several hundred cases. And on and on. Like, I don't think this is like subterfuge. It may be true. I believe that, some of the listeners maybe should read Naomi Klein. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. She's a Canadian Jew. Sorry. But anyway, Naomi Klein. She wrote a book called Shock Doctrine, which talks about how
Naomi Klein.
Yeah, I love her too. I think she's a good writer. But she wrote a book called Shock Doctrine, which talks about how capitalists take advantage of crises to push through agendas. So, like Katrina was one of the examples.
Right. I remember that book. I remember that book. Yeah.
It's a good book. And the point of the matter is like when the real estate drops because the hurricane came in, developers and speculators swooped in, bought up the real estate for nothing, and then developed it. And basically only white people with money were allowed to live there, and the residents who had lived there previously were displaced. So people took advantage of a crisis to push through gentrification in New Orleans. And that's one example. She gives other examples.
Yeah. Hold on just a sec, Chris. Hey, Craig, are you wanting to set something up? You can set it up now if you're wanting to set something up.
Give me a sec. I got a voicemail for you.
Okay. Go ahead, Chris.
She also talks about banks destroying economies in Latin America and then buying up the natural resources for nothing.
Right.
So artificially created crises enable governments, especially authoritarian governments like the United States. I'm tired of hearing about how horrible Stalin was and how horrible China is when our government is the most fucking horrible government, Mike. So let's stop pointing fingers at history books and imagining it was like that.
I keep saying this stuff, I do. I've been saying it for a long time.
You do.
Yeah.
But the history books that we were taught,
yeah.
and that includes even Mike from SoCal, and I respect people older than me, by the way. I have great respect for people older than me. But even folks older than me, the textbooks that they were taught in school all the way through today are straight up propaganda. promoting an American lifestyle, which has basically led us to where we are today. As far as I'm concerned, it isn't very concerned about your neighbor. It isn't very concerned about like appropriate development. It's about the quick buck, the quick dollar, and who can you take advantage of, and what do you have? What kind of a man are you? That seems to be kind of the iconic image right now of the ugly American. And that's almost coming to an end because of this virus, oddly enough.
Well, I don't know what's happening, you know, as far as the ugly American goes, but I'm really hoping that this shows that, you know, we're not separate, you know, and it's unfortunate the way that we've been taught and programmed from the time we're little. You know, I don't like this American exceptionalism. I didn't like it when Obama said it. I didn't like it when George Bush said it. I just don't. I don't believe it. I think it's something people say in order to justify doing horrible things. And that's. I guess
2 examples.
Yeah.
Mike, recently is Mike Pompeo imposing new sanctions on Iran on Wednesday in light of this global crisis, in light of the fact that Iran has, you know, more cases than almost any other country except for maybe Italy.
Yeah.
In light of the fact their healthcare system is overwhelmed, in light of all of those things, the Secretary of State imposed harsher sanctions on Iran on Wednesday. So what I mean by that is the rest of the world is not blind. I mean, they clearly can understand what America is doing. And what America has explicitly stated, that we wish to overthrow their government to promote American interest in the Middle East. They have explicitly said that many times, Republicans and Democrats. So they're trying to overthrow their government. There's a crisis occurring, and how do the Americans respond? They impose harsher sanctions on the Iranians, right?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we're still buddies with the leader of Saudi Arabia, who has a convenient acronym in the 21st century, right?
Yeah.
Which is just so cool. MSB. Dude, that guy's fucking awesome. Like, whatever. That motherfucker, we're still supporting that individual.
Fuck Saudi Arabia.
And that's correct.
Yeah.
As we impose sanctions on people who are dying, it's just the rest of the world sees that. People in Latin America,
I agree.
people in Africa, the people in Russia, they understand what's going on. America's taking advantage of a situation for, you know, geopolitical gains. So do the Chinese, by the way.
Yeah, they do for sure. I mean, they're building all this infrastructure around the world right now, and that's, I'm sure, putting all those governments into massive amounts of debt.
I did watch Bill de Blasio's press conference this afternoon for about a half an hour, and that was interesting. I mean, they're toying with the idea of locking down 10 million people in New York. The stock market.
Did he say anything about bringing in the military?
He did not say anything about bringing in the military in New York City.
Because I've seen multiple interviews with him in the last 24 hours where he's literally calling for Donald Trump to send the military into the streets.
The only person I know who actually has used the military is Governor Cuomo. Mario Cuomo's son has used the National Guard in Westchester County, like I said, probably as an experiment, so that when they employ the National Guard, they'll be able to have an example that they can use as a template for other cities around the country. But
the National Guard has been deployed in Illinois also. I did a story about that last night.
Are they distributing food? I mean, what are they doing?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but I'm just saying that they have been deployed. I believe that they've been deployed other places also. Honestly, go ahead.
Okay, so there's been this discussion that I've been aware of for a long time about about like the favelas in Venezuela, which are like neighborhoods that are not monitored by the police, but there are like 1 million people in Caracas who live in these neighborhoods where they just kind of like take care of each other. And the police don't really go in those neighborhoods. They're kind of self-organized, like anarchy. But a lot of it is also organized crime, because when you have anarchy and you have tribalism, you have people with power and guns who get their way.
Yeah.
So you also have organized crime. And I hope a lot of people recognize that this libertarian message of no government also means that people who have guns and money get to do what they want. And you're kind of looking for the Socratic philosopher king in that situation, which is the reason why we do have governments and we do have checks on tribes, so that one tribe doesn't take advantage of other tribes. That's like fundamental, I think. It's called law. But I don't know. I guess I went off on a tangent. I apologize. But I do think we need a government, and I do think that at the end of the day, that's what I was getting at. The Army. I lived with somebody for 3 years who was part of a group where they got fucked over by the military for protesting. John Towery was a U.S. military official, infiltrated a peace group in Olympia, Washington, and found out what they were doing to protest against the Army. I am no fan of the Army at all. But what I've read tells me that when things break down, like they could break down, where there are no health, where the healthcare system doesn't work, where the trash doesn't work, and where no institutions are functioning, in that situation, that is where the National Guard steps in and provides basic services. And it is kind of a police state. I completely agree with you. But it really is an indication, Mike, of how unprepared we are for different crises. Capitalism is not prepared to deal with these crises. And when everything goes to shit, like in Italy, when they have 300 people a day dying, and they have to use military transport to move bodies, right? At the end of the day, the institution, the state, will use the military. It's a fact. And granted, they're not always going to make the right decisions. I'm not even saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that is what happens.
Yeah. Okay, Chris, I gotta go. I don't want to talk about coronavirus anymore.
Have a good birthday. Let's not talk about martial law.
Yeah. But, I'm sorry. I just don't want to talk about that right now. I mean, this is,
No, you don't have to. It's a beautiful cake. I saw it. It was nice. It's gorgeous. And I'll talk to you later in the week or next week. But you have a great birthday for the rest of your night.
Okay, Chris. Thanks a lot for calling. I appreciate it. I'm glad to hear from you. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
That's our buddy Chris from Olympia. And Craig has a clip that he wants to play. Craig, how long is that clip?
Michael, this is Steve McClennan reporting to you live from my vehicle. Oh my God, that son of a bitch just almost bridge. You son of a bitch. I gotta give this guy a fucking middle finger. Michael, we are calling you to wish you a happy birthday. Me and Super Bullshitron are fucking currently sitting here after spending 45 fucking goddamn minutes on the line with the fucking call screener. Jesus Christ, Michael, that guy is the worst. Fuck. Alright, but hey, Super Bullshitron, you want to tell Michael happy birthday? No? Okay, fuck, Jesus Christ, Super Bullshitron, that's not very nice. Alright, Michael, we're gonna fucking sing you happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to Matus. Happy birthday, dear fucking Michael. Happy birthday, Mox News. I love you, baby. I love you, girl. All right, Michael. This is Steve McClennan. 10-4 over at Owls.
Well, that's very nice of Steve. Thank you very much, Steve. It's always good to hear from you. And thanks very much to everybody for tuning in and sharing and saying happy birthday tonight. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow night and every Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, because that's when we do this thing. And it's always better when you're here. So, in fact, it would be completely meaningless without you. So you know. So I hope we see you again tomorrow night. Same Mox time, same Mox channel. And until then, stay cool, because one of these days, this war is going to end.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories, 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. moxnews.com.